فكيف شوية من الانترو السريعة دي. احنا هنبدأ دلوقتي رسميا الايفنت بتاعنا الساعة 11. هنبدأ أول حاجة. معانا كريم كساب، واحد أكتر واحد تعب في الايفنت الحقيقة المرة دي. founder of بلوكات، اللي هيتبع كل القطص اللي موجودة النهاردة والستيكرز اللي بره. هو هيكلمنا اليوم هيمشي ازاي، وبعدين نبدأ من بعديها بقى التوكس بتاعت الكوانت بس.
عشان وزن فاتي شباب
فانزل صباح الفل. انت كليكت ايوه
هو فعلا ده
بعض الجوع ألف سنوات.
اوكي عاملين ايه؟ حد جاي من بره القاهره؟
السنة بروجرام
حاجة فنية الناس
كده شكرا للناس اللي جايه من بره القاهره. انا كريم كساب، فاوندر بلوكات، بلوك تشين اديوكيشن كوميونتي بالعربي.
بدأ يستعمل عندي
اسمه سي بلوك تشين كوميونتي. وبعدين كده الناس صغرت Cohost من شباب برودكت مانجر فول تايم فور ستارت اب. وعملت بلوكات بهدف ان هي تكون بورد
راهو بالعافية.
بهدف ان هي تكون بورد ستودنتس وانتربرونورز للويب 3 عشان عادة هم دول الناس اللي بيبيلدوا الكوميونتي دول، وهم دول اللي هيقدروا يعملوا ستارت ابس كو بريكي بروجكتس ومجال زي بلوكات. احنا بنعمل ايه؟ بنعمل كونتنت اديوكيشن كونسبشوال بالعربي، تمام؟ فلو حد عايز يفهم بلوك تشين كونسبتس وحاجات تكنيكال ورك شوبس وبننظم ايفنتس زي ده كده. وآخر حاجتين بندسكس الريل وورد يوز كيسز، عشان في ناس كتير بتجادل ان البلوك تشين زي حل جدار على المشكله، مش بتحل مشاكل بجد ولا حاجه، انتوا بس يعني بتحاول تريبيت وكل حاجه من الاول ماشي. فبنناقش الريل وورد يوز كيسز اللي بتحل مشاكل بجد دي، مش لاقي جو هنا وللناس اللي مقتنعه بكده يعني بجد علينا. واخر حاجه كارير اكسبلوريشن، يعني لو حد عايز انترنشيب مثلا بيجهز لي انترفيو، عايز نصايح في ازاي يعمل كارير في ويب 3، بنقدم له النصايح دي وبنساعده يجهز الانترفيو زي فلو حد عايز يجوين كوميونتي كيو هنا وعلى رقم واحد عشان ما تقولش على السلايد بتاعتنا. عايز اشكر كذا حد من دول. اول حد انتوا طبعا، انتوا زي انتوا نورتين وبيتوا بالذات الناس اللي بتيجي بدري. اي هاف ثانك فور الناس اللي بتيجي بدري. ومقتنع ان في جزء لازم انت تتعلم، وتعلم الجزء ده بيزود اكتر من الفهم. في جزء ده مش بيجي غير لما الناس تحتك كوميونتي وتشوف اوبورتيونيتيز وقابل الناس والكلام ده. فحافظوا على حاجه زي كده، وشكرا ان انتوا معانا. تاني حاجه طبعا الناس اللي خلت الانت ده ممكن يحصل تشين لينك اول حاجه. سبونسرز معظمهم بتاعنا برافيكا وكارتسي، اسلام ومصر يعني وكارتسي في السي بتاعنا اليورو. محمد عنده سبيكر من برافيكا بس هو لسه مش فايت. واخر حد كامبوس اللي بنقول عليه الكبيره دي، و1 انش كوميونتي بارتنر اللي سبورت الايفنت برضه. واخر حد طبعا الكوهوست بتوعي. معظم الناس هنا هيبقوا مش من بلوكات اصلا، من اربس البلوك تشينز اللي هو بتاع ايمان ايراوي للاسف ايمان سافر. بس هي كانت يعني بتشتغل معانا ريموتلي. وبيبل اوف داتا يوسف برضه لسه ما جاش، بس في ناس كتير قوي هنا من بيبل اوف داتا او كوميونتي الاي اي. انا بالنسبه لي الاي اي يعني روكيت ساينس، فممكن اتعلم منكم اكتر. مركز بلوك تشينز بس. ومبسوط اني اقابل الناس الكوميونتي ده. حابب اشكر بشكل خاص جنة اللي راحت فين مش عارف ورا فاكر، وشربوسي من 1 انش انهم يعني اتسحلوا معايا في كميه ديتيلز المانكنز مش طبيعيه. واخر حد طبعا اهم حد الفولنتيرز اللي معانا البروفيشنال والمش بروفيشنال. وانا طبعا عشان الوقت ضيق واحنا بنجهز البوك ده ما عرفتش اطلب صور من كل الناس. فكنت حابب لو هم موجودين يرفعوا ايديهم الناس تبص عليهم دلوقتي. ايوه وهم يتقابلوا بسيط وجنة وكل الفولنتيرز اللي بره. حابب اشكرهم، وبما ان مفيش كلوزنج لان النهارده ميتة، فيا ريت تسقفوا لهم دلوقتي شكر مقدم. مثلا هيتعبوا معانا النهارده بقى، لسه هنشيل اكل وبتاع. برضه اللي عايز يدخل الكوميونيتيز الثانيه اربس البلوك تشين، هتلاقوا رول هنا وبيبل داتا هتلاقوا رول هنا. لو حد يعني معلش عايز يعمل سكان على السكرين. وحابب اشكر يوسف، هو مش هنا بس يعني بان في الريكوردنج ان شاء الله. عشان هو برضه ساعدنا في تجهيز حاجات من السبيكرز وحاجات دي الاجنده بتاعتنا النهارده. هنبدا بشويه اوبننج ريماركس اونلاين من كوهوست بتاعنا تشين لينك وكارتسي، وبعد كده في كي نوت مهمه من محمد عبده من براديكا. بعد كده هناخد كوفي بريك بره والنتورك مع بعض شويه. اللي عايز يتعرف على الاي اي وورك تشينك والعكس، اللي عايز يتعرف على حق الستارت ابس ايكو سيستم يعني فتحوا موجودين مع بعض. هو الايفنت ده مينلي نتوركينج، يعني ناكل مع بعض ونتكلم بس. بعد الكوفي بريك هيبقى في بانل لنا في الطبق الرئيسي بتاع النهارده الانجليش. هنقعد هنا البانل هتبقى ساعه، اخر شويه هنسال فيهم اسئله. اللي حابب يسال من الباناليست على حاجه اوكي. وبعدين هناكل بقى يعني المين نتوركينج والاكل اللي بجد الساعتين ان شاء الله.
اوكي.
بس
بحرق like
يلا بينا. مين معاك؟
إيمان.
ايمان؟
إني حابة أبعت هي الإيمان هنا اللي عملت الإيفنت. مش عارفة يعني يا جماعة كتير.
مش عارف تفتح الكاميرا ولا صباح الخير.
يعني أفريكانيز.
ان شاء الله. او نطلع كلنا على السويفه.
أو بسمع بالظبط.
طيب انا مش هطول عليكم. المفروض الاوبننج كان مكمل لغايه 11 وربع 11 وتلت، فما عملتش اللي هو تشين لينك لذيذ. مش من عادتي ان انا اتكلم كتير او مطول في برزنتيشنز او ميتنجز. الناس بترتاح نعمل انا خلاص ما كان كده والاتنشن سبان بتاع بريك بس.
أنا بس اللي بعتك يعني
بس في حاجه بعدين
مش قادر تقدر فعلا ترشلك
بس
بس
مستر حمزه بتاع ويز عامل ايه؟ واتس اند هير
حسب التوري
حمزه من جاب تاعك بس انا ما عملتش اتس كريستي
أصلاً تمثيل معك.
ده بس
ثانكس لا حمزة
مين كده اشتغل
I'm ready to know.
اعمل خلاص اعمل خلصت انت عارف عايز اول سؤال عندنا في الايه
خلصت انت عين
تفسير طبعا يعني بدات الدراسات المصريه
دي شهادة أصلا لا صعبة صعبة بقت صعبة جدا
تأجلت مني تأجلت أنا تأمنت مني
It's right that he's brother.
Well, I get when you realize some shit that there for down community could be less.
I think it's where is it? It's the grind to show that. I mean, it's got to be
was short. Yes. Check it. That there is counts.
make stretch new charge security at the screens of efficiency freedom fires. Oh, like that mentioned.
But
Says the some case to this and it's working. They didn't get the station customers by skipping their files and if they pass a shoe, he later does. He'll come.
okay, he's Saturday though.
Take on the log and reads for now. It's up. Getting stuff like this up there. Yeah,
حد هنا بيفحص كان راجل
one minute. Okay. See,
let's see and I had myself the الأول عايش مستانس مش بحصل بالعقل بقى معقول
right.
يبقى it was after you get
Sequence. Thanks.
Christ يعني هنسوي كده قبل ما تشينج مثلا بس what is the
And for each child, some people are looking at your same country. They will accept it out.
see the
14 guys.
تمام
Watch my phone.
that can see in the answer in same like around the so
That all session. Other
that the results they don't also see
that
without first to get best we are the service massage is your feet and then chill out the fail that breaking
eyes.
do that
By the way, something. Chungus.
make sure
But this is this decentralized governance. What is actually the start of this large secret? That bit larger was a few words that an instrument is near that still in one shape. But what yes, word as even exactly the most this I did where's the was taken and the kid had these doing doctors. They were around the buzzing and it was the best way. So it comes the best like and the best story. Some side people is telling me this technique is okay, so she doesn't listen to English. They should listen to about small even if they're sick, but that other thing I'm saying thinks is so that's like if you should it. Looking is nice for this next this is
لو مش كنت عن خلاص انت من ضروري اشتري كمية كان عندي واي حاجة اونلاين ارتيست جينير وانا afraid that it doesn't mean this us.
Riddles like she that is in by the not doors the rules. Not like the still higher. One also I like faith in God and other stuff. Good clients. There's a you could just set it. I will also like English and take this. And the rest is so like this. I look at it. Wait, you're in the credits. You did it. Oh, we perhaps I have some.
كنت اتكلمت انا quick go through الاجنده هتمشي ازاي. اول حاجه عايز المرتبط مش يعني ايفنت جاي لنا من عرض البلوك تشين مع بيبل اوف داتا. مين احسن واحد ممكن يكون هو كوهوست هو تشين لينك اكيد اللي هو التكنولوجي بتاعتهم بيزد على ان هو يكونكت الناس اون تشين بالداتا. هيكون معانا النهارده اليف هلال وموجو ان شاء الله كنت نطقت اسمها صح. هي ديفل في تشين لينكس. هي كانت هتكون معانا ان بيرسون في الايفنت النهارده بس حصل لها حاجه في الاخر وما قدرتش تكون موجوده. احنا حسينا ما نضيعش الفرصه دي فهتكون معانا ريموت من اسطنبول. هي هتدخل معانا خلال I guess 5 minutes وهتكون اونلاين. I hope ان احنا enjoy the
Und ihr kann tracking später at least und ihr da mit sich hat eine my work the less they are now the first year so for the G was out of this bar the London cam about that is like a look have a smart was it the Alex will work as actually should you some little thing she bought sure someone back is street stable at maybe in floor nothing like which is yeah that about that bloody open but to be some not things is far intro which had the hell list with the what's the
I'm so nice to meet you. Everything is great. I'm moving actually to another apartment. That's been a long time and difficult time for me, but everything is great. How about you guys?
the trucks are actually I'll be so great.
Then I think like in camera, yeah, showing already the killing project class. People are joining and we're happy to have you and it's an honor to have Chinlink and to give the opening remarks. So people are coming and those people are waiting for you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me actually. I do appreciate that. Do you want me to start right now or do we have time or I can start?
Absolutely.
Yeah, after that I talk it in line at least.
I guess it's important.
I just like this that or not as I go.
It's quite very so we have like 5 minutes.
Okay, great.
Start great. Thank you. It's your phone.
Thank you so much. I think we can wait just, a couple of minutes, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3. Then I'll start. Yeah. Thank you.
Cut the slow down. You're executive first.
I guess it's what you have is you build up to
Anything.
English like yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, up to you. It's totally fine. Thank you so much. Okay. Right, so I don't have any presentation, but I'll be talking about AI, blockchain, and training a little bit if you're ready. And I'm so excited. Thank you so much for inviting me. Let's get started. First of all, this is an introduction.
Water to the sun.
Hi everyone, I'm not sure if you see me right now. I'm just making sure that do you see me? Oh yeah, thank you, yeah, okay. This is Edith Dye from Chaining Blocks from Devel team. I'm a Devel engineer and I have been working on blockchain and smart contracts for almost 6 years. That's a lot, I can tell. And before Chaining Blocks, actually, I was working with the government of Turkey, like for the Presidential Digital Transformation Office as a blockchain research engineer as well. And after this, I was working with TOGG, talk, maybe you're not familiar with this, but it is like a Turkey's electronic car company. I was working with them to integrate blockchain to the electronic car, yeah. And I can tell this is the summary of my business life. By the way, I do my research at MIT right now, MIT University in USA. And I work on like privacy, blockchain integration, architecture, and some, engineering stuff as well. Yeah, that's me, that's who I am. And let me talk about the definition of AI and blockchain, because today I really want you to understand what is AI, what is blockchain, how we can integrate these technology to each other, and how can we learn that. I really care about this because you need to be part of this ecosystem, right? Like AI or blockchain, whatever you want to call this, doesn't matter. But the future is really bright on AI and blockchain. This is why I want to make sure that you get something from me. I want to make sure that I change your life today. Let's start by defining blockchain and AI technologies. I know you're familiar with this because these concepts are clear. You can understand artificial intelligence, but let's define it anyway to understand it very well. Yeah. First of all, what is the artificial intelligence really? AI, as we already know that, AI is the simulation of human intelligence processed by machines actually, particularly computer systems. And this process include learning, reasoning, asking, and self-correction. AI can be categorized into like different types. AI has some different types, like for example, weak AI, it just can read and learn something. General AI, or we can call this strong AI as well. Or artificial super intelligence. It means ASI, and it is like kind of GPT and other LLMs as well. Yeah. Then these are just the categorized different types. Then after this, we have the applications of AI. For example, how we can use AI in our system, right? For example, you are familiar with this concept, I am sure. Machine learning. Machine learning is one of them. But what does that mean really? Machine learning is a subset of AI, enables the systems to learn and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. That is so cool, I can tell. We are using machine learning in predictive analytics, recommendation system, and much more than that, actually. And we have also, as an application in AI, natural language processing, NLP. I'm sure you are already familiar with this too, because it allows machine to understand, to respond to human language. I'm asking my question, and it is replying, it is answering my question, because it understands human language. This is natural language processing as well. And one more thing is computer vision. It enables machine, we are working on machines here. It enables machine to interpret and make decisions based on visual data. It means visual data. Computer vision is related with visual data. What does that mean? For example, we can use this in our facial recognition system. I'm sure you have fun, right? For example, when you use facial recognition to open up, it means you are using computer vision, as a part of AI as well. What was that? Machine learning, natural language processing, and computer vision are AI applications. We're okay with this. Okay, then next steps. People are always asking about them, but these are different terms. LLMs, generative AI, ChatGPT. Yeah, that's also interesting topic that I would love to explain. Generative AI, it refers to algorithms that can create new content. New content. It can be like article or blog post or Twitter message or Twitter blog post or something, such as images, music, poems, text. This is similar to existing data. It encompasses various types of models, including LLMs too. generative AI, what does that? Can create new content. This is really important. Simply put, the difference between AI and generative AI, people always ask about this. I'm sure you have some question about this too. The difference between AI and generative AI is artificial intelligence is the umbrella. Yeah, this is a rule. This is an umbrella category for all forms of machinery with human-like intelligence, while generative AI is a subset of this category, referring to intelligent machines that can produce something new. Yeah, generative AI creates something new from things it's learned via training. We are teaching actually. We have some data sets and we are just saying, hey, this is edit, this is also edit, this is also edit, this is also edit. And my machine learns that this is edit. Whenever it sees me, it will understand this is edit. This is edit too. This is the computer vision is part of generative AI as well.
But
The most important knowledge that I want to give you today is not all generative AI tools are built on LLMs, but all LLMs are a form of generative AI. Normal AI, artificial intelligence, is the mother of everything. Generative AI is the big son, and LLMs is the youngest son or sister or something, whatever we say that, yeah. Generative AI is a broad category for a type of AI. It is a type of AI, and LLMs is just like artificial intelligence form, but also generative AI is learning from LLM. Yeah, this is just a tool. You can say that. In a nutshell, let's just summarize that. In a nutshell, LLMs, it means large language models. Large language models such as OpenAI, ChatGPT, or ChatGPT for all. Yeah, it doesn't name that. You are familiar with this. It represented significant advancement in AI, particularly in the field of natural language processing, like NLP. And I think that's all we should know about AI, generative AI, and LLMs. Then we have AI in smart contracts. This is also important because if you're working on smart contract or blockchain or whatever, or Web3, we call that, right? You need to be really familiar with the concepts. For example, let me give you some example about this. This is my experience. People keep asking me about this. Hey, can you learn coding? How can we learn coding? When should we start with, I'm sure you have some questions about this too. Look, my dear friends, I really care about you. This is why I am here. Sometimes to learn a new programming language is not the best way. It can be a good way, but it is not the best way. I'm asking you, are you familiar with HTTP request? Are you familiar with TCP IP address, networking system? Are you familiar with machine, computer? Can you communicate with your computers? Do you know what is behind of your computer? If you don't know this, if you don't understand how algorithms work actually, you need to start with these concepts. What is computer? How I can understand my computer? Shell programming, what is that? What is the difference between all programming languages? What is algorithm, right? We need to understand that concept first. That's my opinion. Because if you learn just what is the programming language or Python programming language, you will just focus on that, and I'm sure you won't have so many solutions to do something really cool. Because this is a niche area, right? So it is just a language. But if you learn the algorithms behind of it, or how you can communicate with computers, like web design or infrastructure or shell programming, I'm sure you can do everything, whatever you want to do. It is up to you. This is why all concepts are important, and I promise I'll help you to learn these details. I will send you so many documents and training and so many great blog posts as well. I'm here to help you, no worries. Okay, how we can use AI in our smart contracts, okay? As we already know that, smart contracts enforce agreements actually between users is an automated and trustworthy way on platforms. Platforms like Ether, Bitcoin, Polygon, right? I'm sorry, do you have any question? Did you say something? Okay, no. Something that works, yeah. Smart contracts are, we already know that. Smart contracts are written in code, which means they are very precious and clear. They are 1, 0, 1, 0. They, avoid the confusion that can come from contracts written in human language. For example, I have also legal background as well. I was a lawyer, and I know how I can write a normal contract, legal contract. And this is why smart contracts are avoiding the confusion that can coming from contracts with like written in human language, my language, or lawyer's language. However, like this precision has a downside. Human language, with its nuances and flexibility, actually, it is how people communicate and understand. When I say, hi everyone, I'm sad, you can understand how I feel, right? Or when I say like, hi, I'm so excited to see you, you can see my facial expression, can you? Yes, you do right now. I'm so excited. But computers, machines, smart contracts cannot understand that. They can't understand my facial expression and how I feel, right? But you can't do this because you're not human. This is why code, on the other hand, doesn't understand human intentions, emotions, like feelings, and the complexities of our institutions as well. Therefore, we have something special. Smart contracts are really mostly useful to a small group of technical and financial experts in their areas, because people are using this in their insurance companies, in their airports, etc. We have so many examples. And right now, training is coming from the real-world data to blockchain. Training is the bridge between blockchain and real-world data. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but training is a decentralized Oracle network. What does that mean? It enables smart contracts to securely interact with the real-world data. We are collecting real data from the computers, from what operators, from the real world actually. Yeah, Training is making that. Training is doing that actually. Yeah. I mean, also outside of the world, outside of the blockchain, because they are deterministic, they are closed box. We need to interact with the real world data, and we are doing this actually. We have some products or services that you can be familiar with, like, for example, decentralized oracles. I just explained that. This is a bridge between real world data and they are, collecting data to blockchain ecosystem. This is a bridge. Why Chain use that? Chain uses decentralized oracles to provide templated smart contracts. That it ensures that the data is reliable. Yeah, reliable is the I love that word. And also we have chain variant as well. It is a verifiable random function, and it provides cryptographically secure randomness for application like gaming, like lottery system. If you want to make difference, for example, you have an NFT collection and you have 122 NFTs. You want to make them separated, unique, and really different from each other. Okay, you need to use chain variant to make it happen because it makes that cryptographically secure randomness for NFTs, applications, or whatever. Yeah. And we have training keepers as well. Actually, we changed the name last year, I think. I don't remember the timing, but I think last year. And right now we call that training automation, actually. And training automation, as we understand from the title, actually, it automates smart contract functions. It is reducing the need for manual interventions and ensuring timely execution based on predefined condition. If you have something to do monthly, weekly, it can be a call, it can be a meeting or something. You can use chain automation because it automates your meetings, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or annual or something like that, whatever you want to do this. And One more thing, training data feed and training CCIP. No, I'm sorry, I just two more things. Training data feeds, it delivers real-time market data actually by yourself. Because sometimes, people say that they are not lucky to do something, but if you're really passionate about it and if you want to do this with right people, on the right time, I am here to help. Just reach out to me. Just join the hackathons. Just join the teams. Manage some teams. Learn something from each other. Ask me. Ask Iman. Ask other people. This is how we can build together. This is how we can grow together as well. This is why it doesn't matter. Today we are just coming from AI and blockchain for you guys. Tomorrow we will have another thing to explain what bridge is. Another day, next week, we will talk about how we can use machine learning algorithms for blockchain. It doesn't matter which events we do, which umbrella we are just under from, but it doesn't matter. The most important thing is right now you're listening to me. Your time is really valuable. I really value that. This is why, just let me know if you have any questions, if you want to learn something from me, if you want to do something really cool but you don't know where to start, where you should do, what you should do, reach out to me. I am trying to help you guys. I'm trying to help you. This is why I'm here. I'm trying to be building good bridge between knowledge and people. This is why I do my research in MIT. And that's, I think, all right now, from now. And thank you so much for listening to me. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to reach out to me, feel free. Thank you.
That's
So actually,
I'm going to speak to you. Wait for something to do with your West. And smart.
Okay.
Was anyone man? Have them say, that's a really Raymond involved in the look shit. When Canada fight it, let's start time by the spirit is like it. Yes, no, let's curious about it. Thank you for so much of that is great. We overture don't actually listen to that. So what else do we
I will. Yeah, thank you so much. You can do it. Fine.
I want to tell you, like, Elise promised us she will come, like, in person. We met
I will. I
So,
will.
yeah, it's a promise now.
Oh my God, I will. Thank you so much.
I'd love to have you in the airport, like, a tour across Cairo.
good to come.
Yeah, great. Thank you. I do appreciate it.
Bye, guys. Nothing. Good luck. Suddenly, yes. And ich habe ja gesagt, so, was sehen, but it's staring behind the none of the shit was without it, but then not that. But then,
Should we come finish the records? Okay.
This really doesn't speak Russian.
it's that is
Yeah, this I did it because it's well, just at the second as everything but to like become a person.
but yes, I
That'll we should let out of him.
I wish them.
But you will that shit for the work to the
Nothing from school is just connect. Then she's the kind of shit.
Fantastic. You try to sell a lot.
Playing around.
Listen to me. I listen this. I haven't think this. I'm just going to
It's not.
we can't that's a bit wise for the decision. So impulse we take in so sure. I feel like okay that and skill
It's an obvious.
but I can't take themselves get off making
But it's fun.
but so I got a thing that was somebody else what is he like so that was
I'm like, you're not sure the things.
so it's like I think we did was good.
Listen, rightly, sure, this up, this work inside I sit it.
And start with sharing your screen, make sure that everything is going well.
Sing in the people, but it was
Don't
chicken and
that right kills but they watching about
دلوقتي بسمع الكو-هوست الكو-هوست keynote. هنبدأ بالجولد سبونسرز keynote. معانا أول جولد سبونسر كارتسي. احنا معانا advocates أو community managers ambassadors من كارتسي نسلام وناصر. لو أي حد حابب إن هو يريتش أوت فور بعد الكينوت دي يقدر إن هو يوصلكم. هيكون معانا
some
شاهين
well
أحمد من كارتسي دلوقتي. So سريع.
look at this thing I'm not slang that it's a while like in the chat that let's try it but we get an inference to try to do something it was good such a if I'm in Valverde I think that this white buildings with my best travel wish to big roadside 17 بس أبرز الدواء بس يشتري لحد ما just personally I wait to not get أو detection عن this happen. I think she reached where I was at. You feel like she little time so kids in which function good of it and research thanks can jam what it was. So like finds what it is actually got it out the moment.
كوينتسي شوية بتيجي من بيت مشترك ما بين الناس بتوع الداتا والناس بتوع البلوك تشين بس على سكيلز مختلفة وهو الكمبيوتابيلتي
In Mac was the word
الكمبيوتيشن straight.
they call that
خلينا نتكلم أكتر دلوقتي عن كوينتسي بتعمل إيه هو كوينتسي عاملة layer 2 Linux environment بنقدر بندي computation power للبلوك تشين زيادة هو هيكون معانا دلوقتي.
so like
Alright, Shaheen, we are now happy to know the
elders
letter like
such loads that
it's also good for
stop
it is to light with so lovely.
there that's the evidence of working screwed up and so that's the decision and I'm like it's me to help you the rest of
So can you hear us, Brenda? So not good to talk to the
you must think
Yes, I can hear you.
oh yeah that's about guys because these are things got about that lost our sense of it with
I can see the audience. Perfect. Shall we start?
and we have insert right here on muscle.
Thank you for joining us.
good
Thank you so much for having me. I hope I'm audible to everybody there and my screen is visible.
was
And if I get a thumbs up, I can start.
vibrated
All good?
so let me you
You can say right now.
Cool. So, hello everybody. This is me, Shaheen Ahmed. I'm developer advocate at Cartesi and I'm based out of India. So part of my role at Cartesi is to reduce friction for developers, bring them to use Cartesi tech and onboard them via various initiatives. We conduct events, we conduct awareness events, hackathons, and workshops, all these kind of things. We do developer tooling, documentations, and templates, anything that can help developers to kickstart their journey with Cartesi ecosystem. I'm part of all those things. So today I'm very much glad and excited to present this interesting topic in front of you guys, verifiable Linux and AI in blockchain. So we're gonna see how Cartesi is helping, what is the role of Cartesi in bridging this gap between AI and machine learning and blockchain, as we say. So let's dive into it.
with how I
We'll talk about what is Cartesi. You should be using it for AI applications, and we'll be seeing some community applications, what you can build with it. And I'll be giving you some links like where you can start to get or dive deeper into this. So first question of this keynote, what is Cartesi? So if you have heard of Cartesi before, you might have heard of terms like a roller, an app chain, a virtual machine, or is it an execution layer? All of these things hold true for Cartesi. It is a roll-up which is app chain, application specific, and at the very heart of it, it's a virtual machine and execution layer. This is where all the magic happens. So we're gonna learn about what's so novel about this virtual machine, why this virtual machine stands out from different virtual machines in the blockchain space. So let's look into that. We call this machine Cartesi machine. It's an execution layer like Ethereum has EVM, we have Cartesi machine. But there are some interesting things going on with Cartesi machine, which are, it is based on top of a RISC-V emulator. RISC-V is like computer architecture. On top of it, it's based on. And one of the key highlights of this machine is it provides Linux runtime. Now this is a very interesting property for developers out there which feel themselves trapped with limited resources and tools and languages that are provided currently in the blockchain space. So having this, it opens up lots of opportunities and ideas to build on top of blockchains. And we're going to see how this also helps you to build AI applications, use machine learning algorithms on top of blockchain. And this machine is self-contained, like as you would want a machine to be in blockchain. Any outside agents cannot directly tamper with this machine. If you want this machine to execute something, it should go via certain protocols, like you send transactions to, let's say, Ethereum. That's how it works. It's deterministic and verifiable, meaning any sort of computation that is did by, let's say, a user 1. If a user 2 is doing the same computation with the same inputs, both of them will arrive at the same result. So you can have multiple nodes of this machine. They will be running some game or any application, and they will be arriving at the same outputs after they run that particular computation. In that sense, this machine becomes very ideal for blockchains and for developers who are looking to tap into building applications with their familiar stacks. And key point to note here, it is not equivalent to EVM. It's an alt VM, if you will. So we'll learn more about this in the next slides. Okay, once you have this nice little piece of execution layer, a virtual machine, how do you plug it with blockchains? So we talked about it's a roll-up. So how does this work with a blockchain or any existing layer 1 or let's say layer 2? So how does this base layers work these days? It's very simple. Like you send a transaction to a base layer. Here we have Ethereum, and after executing that transaction, the world state of that base layer changes. It's updated, and the next state is there on the blockchain. Now, how do you plug Cartesi to this particular base chain? You send a transaction to Ethereum, but you do not process that transaction there. Only the input is sent to that particular layer. And this input is read by this Cartesi machine, this Cartesi node, or you can call it a rollup. It's read by that particular node. It processes it inside Cartesi machine, and after processing it, it generates proof of that processing, the computation proofs. And it sends those claims back to Ethereum. So you still have the security and the decentralization guarantees of the base layer of Ethereum, but you are getting this massive computational and programmability of this nice execution layer that you can plug with these chains. It's kind of becomes like a best of both worlds, if you will. Now, some design choices where, so like, what are the USPs of Cartesi machine? Two things interesting to note here is your application-specific rollups. That mean that you do not have a shared network for every application on the network. Your particular application will have its own CPU, its own dedicated resources. So dApps on this network are not fighting for the resources. You could see Cartesi applications as shown in this step diagram. You could see them as sovereign rollups, and you could see them as layer 2s deployed on top of patients like Ethereum. You could see them as layer 3s as well, deployed on top of existing layer 2s like Optimism, Arbitrum, these kind of things. So in this particular sense, Cartesi becomes a very modular stack. You could deploy your Cartesi applications to, in theory, you could deploy it to on top of any EVM-based chain. So this is the part of application-specific rollups. On the other side, the thing that we talked about is programmability. You get this expressiveness with blockchains that wasn't possible before. You get this combination of RISC-V and Linux. With Linux, you can have these compilers where you can build applications in the familiar languages like decade-old tools and libraries, C, C++, Python, Rust, any sort of language that you can imagine. And the libraries, those massive libraries that come with those libraries, also become part of this execution environment. Going next. So this is something that I was talking about, the difference between a shared network and app chain network. So when we talk about Ethereum or any other rollup on top of Ethereum, most of them are shared networks. Every app is trying to fight for the same resources, but we took a different and alternative design approach where you have an app chain dedicated for your particular application. Let's go ahead. So just on programmability side, to give you an mental model, this is what you get, the tooling that you get with EVM. Right now with EVM, most of the development happens with the Solidity language, and the libraries that are compatible with Solidity, that are built on top of Solidity that you can use, they have been come up in the space in just last couple of years. But what Cartesi can offer in JavaScript or maybe Go, or if Rust is your favorite language, that would also work. So this is the perspective on the programmability that you get with Cartesi while building your AI ML applications. Now coming to what you can actually build, like what are the ideas, what are the some applications that has been built with Cartesi, some proof of concepts that we have been seeing from the community members. Let me dive into that.
Good job, hit that.
Okay, so this is one very good example. You can couple this power of AI and bots with games. Now you can think of any like player versus player game, like two-player game, where you can use bots. Here we have an example of Culture. This was built by one of our community member, where human and human can have a battle, but you can have bots introduced by humans. Now these bots can play this game for you, and you could have whole community kind of like betting on the outcome of these results. So these kind of games with AI agents could be built with Cartesi, which was not possible before, and all of this can happen in a as decentralized and as secure fashion as you would expect on Ethereum. And this whole game logic of this application, it was built in Python. Very interesting game. You could have a fighter game where you introduce those fighters as AI bots, and again the same kind of logic will be applied on those. Then we have chatbots. ChatGPT has been hyped for months now. These kind of things you can bring on chain, and this is very much possible right now. We have been experimenting it with some tiny models, like there was this community member during ETH Global New York who used this tiny llama 2.c model, and this guy compiled it in Cartesian machine, and now what you can do with it is this is running inside Cartesian. You can give it prompts, like you can ask it to give me a story about llama. So it will give you certain stories. And what interesting thing it does is it will give you, let's say, 2 stories. And now you as a user can rate on those stories what kind of data you want to feed back to this model. In that sense, it becomes a reinforcement learning, but a very transparent reinforcement learning model which is running on chain. And these kind of applications could be extended to, it could have multiple use cases. Imagine kids using ChatGPT kind of models and what kind of model you want to train for them. And in that sense, it becomes more open and more transparent and decentralized way of using these things like ChatGPTs. Very interesting example, and it kind of opens up a lot of opportunities in blockchain to build these applications. Then we have, I was talking about OpenCV. We have this huge opportunity in terms of image processing. So these are the kind of applications, very highly utility-based applications. Think about biometrics classifier, a model which is checking if the fingerprints are true or are they fake. These kind of applications could be used in, let's say, organizations or institutions where people are marking their attendance with biometrics, by biometrics, and you don't want a centralized agency or a centralized server to check these fingerprints if they are fake or not. For that particular reason, you can have these kind of models running in a decentralized way. And mind you, this OpenCV is a very bulky and heavy library. Oh, thanks for that, sir. It's a very heavy library, and it can be very much usable when you're using Cartesian. So, and another example right here is this AI license plate violation detector. So you can have these real-time based systems which identify the license plate of your car or something. Whenever you kind of violate traffic rules, so there are countries, it happens in India, I'm sure it must be in other countries as well, like even if you violate traffic rules, you could get away with them easily by paying very less to the cops there, the traffic police. So these are the kind of things that we want to be automated, but not just automated, we want them to be decentralized and transparent. So it doesn't favor a particular section of society, it's equitable for everybody.
Right.
And again, when we talk about NFTs, there's a whole lot of provable NFTs, like how this NFT was created. You could do these things on top of Cartesy. Just to give an example, this is a Mandelbrot fractals, like an infinitely generating fractal art. And these are very computational intensive. Now we're just starting to see these kind of agents, these kind of autonomous bodies which can build art for you. And this art, you can convert them to, you can mint them as NFTs on chain. So this is also a very interesting example that you can build with Cartesy. So looking at future, what lies ahead? These are all the POCs that are being built, some prototypes, and we are very excited for how things are moving ahead. There are some bottlenecks in the fundamental technology of the blockchain, like the data availability that we're seeing. Once we have more solutions, there are multiple solutions coming out on the data availability side. And as you can see this particular graph, you have data availability and computation. Now, Cartesy machine provides you a great computational power. Couple that with a good data availability solution, and you can start seeing the applications like more complex IoT applications, metaverses, and these kind of things, which make you very excited for the future. And this is what we are starting to develop, and this is what it can be a part of inside Cartesy ecosystem. So last few slides, just to leave it how you can be a part of this ecosystem. You can start building with Cartesy. You can contact us, you can contact me, and we have different grant programs. If you are somebody new jumping into the ecosystem, we have the seed grants program where we provide funding up to 5,000 for technical assistance as well. You can build mini projects which roughly take about a month or two, and it could be any application. If you are very curious about AI-enabled applications, you could build those applications, or you could build dev tooling as well. You could build something that was existing in Web 2 and now you want to port it and make it decentralized. Those are the kind of things that you can do. So feel free to reach out to me about that. And this is our Discord community. If you want to jump into the community, start chatting with people, we have lots of things going on. It's very transparent and open culture that we have there. So feel free to scan this QR and jump into the Discord. All right, that was it from my side. That's my ex-handle, Rise and Shaheen. And you can connect with me if you want. You can drop me any questions. I'll be very much happy to take your questions and onboard you. Thanks for having me. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Shaheen, so much.
The expect was like yes, both of you. I think it was so good. Yeah, it takes it with that. But still, these are open with you are taking one look for you, but I start throwing up. Yes.
If you don't check, can anyone has question or solutions saying that these? Because I will tell you that.
This is think of everything in that.
That's like that rate can specific that was saying should go the current test about and should how you answer
That doesn't.
Yeah, I'm here. If you have any questions, provide me.
Certain as young as the bike said that kid. Hello, my name is just to make sure I understand, quantity right, you are providing a vertical way to set up analytics container execution environment. I can make sure that the environment setup is the one everyone is as agreed upon, and execution as well. So something you set up the environment that component lives know and my specific application code, my application specific code, and you also execute it in a verifiable way, in a deterministic verifiable way, both the setup and the execution. So many of the AI applications that you mentioned, whether I'm training or try to just get a result from a model, I am using lots of random intermediate status. Like I get random number to start. I don't get CV algorithm, or it's natural to start with it's done to be a version process and a neural network. So it's not deterministic. In at least in the intermediate execution as a one. Final result, maybe, as per the model, as the per model precision, maybe is 90% of my environments will agree on the specific end result. But intermediate status will vary by far between one container and another. How is this handled? Do I choose to just record the final result of the model's user, for example, for an API fold in result of a program, and that's what ends up in the rollup? Or does the intermediate statuses end up there as well?
Okay, so if I get your question correct, like you're asking all the neural networks that we have, that there are possibilities of non-determinism and lots of computation that happen. There also right now there's a lot of parallelism that goes on, so you might not be getting the same deterministic results with every node that is computing those particular inputs.
At least the intermediate execution statuses of the application. Like, for example, they're all going to start at a random number just to start their point in the holder or curve or whatever. Maybe they end up in a stable state, but they're going to start at random state. So it's not deterministic at one of the intermediate states. Or are you providing a currently specific random generator that depends on that would unify how you should integrate the numbers, for example, for all of your papers?
Okay, let me clarify this. So it's not just about the end state that we are taking as deterministic. It's about every CPU cycle that is kind of determined with the machine. So this RISC-V emulator, it matches, it takes this Merkle hash of every CPU cycle of that computation. So whenever two nodes are disagreeing at results, this whole state of this computation, it is being calculated, and it's like a binary search kind of algorithm where we check the results of, okay, who was malicious here, or where did the fault lie. So it's not just the end state, it's like every step of the execution. And talking about the randomness,
Similar to a Merkle tree. Similar to a Merkle tree.
Similar to a Merkle tree, yes.
Okay, so again, I have a graph device. So you are communicating an extract graph device that Is within this recipe processing in the bar.
Yeah, it
It
is.
generates the random numbers. Good.
It does not generate the random numbers. Like randomness is something that we expect the developer who is developing an application. It's a part of their job as well to determine like what kind of deterministic randomness they can use. Like they could be using some seeds or they could be using some oracles for generating these random numbers. So it's not inbuilt to the machine itself, and you cannot get away with this randomness. That's if that's clear.
So yes, I was considered maybe creating real zone in the kernel because together the device and generates the same seeds, for example, for all the species at the same program or taken I'm so possible to be some similar seed, for example. Also the same sequence of random number. Which is like random so first time that's on it, but then you know what kind of numbers you punch into.
Yeah, I think it becomes very opinionated when we try to put these things inside the machine, like random number generation. So that's probably the reason that we do not do these things, this random number generation deterministic inside the machine, and we keep it outside.
Yeah.
So random. Thank you. That was extensive. But yeah, but you know,
And the period was so round is actually outfit. I think Hazin, our text will look as it is. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks عشان عايزة أقول إن الانفسترز كونتنت رئيسي هو موجودين معانا لما أصلا كنت نازل تيم فلو حد عنده أي سؤال أكتر عايز يتواصل أكتر يعني feel free to reach out يعني should have been looking at in person.
And it's not in low dose, so you have to see.
If you can raise your hand about the question on my سؤال حد يضافه يعني but they only have to like to jump your case or so يقدر يتواصل مشكلة.
when you get that.
Thank you Shani.
But it's for when I think that's saying nasty. Crossing a good.
الأجندة أعتقد الناس هيبقى in person خلاص فقولي في السيشن.
Yeah, all those like this in the yard.
And that's going to be like this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's
حابب تصير ستيكس ويب أنت رفعت وأتمنى إن الإيفنت كان يكون نفس statistically.
so it's up to
Yeah, just so for with a team with that. Straight reasons. The steam.
تفكيري استفدت من التوكس الفك وانا ما اعتقد لازم انتراكشن قوي
Okay.
كان السنه بلوي with person المره الجايه مش هتمنى تقولي قوي
and team son against you wow and down. Hey, you're out.
ورجع على النظام المره دي بيت حاجه مهمه دلوقتي احنا معانا توك ان بيرسون وعربي معانا الباشمهندس محمد عبده احنا سعداء جدا ان هو معانا النهارده هو من البايونيرز في البلوك تشين وورلد وهو سي او والفاوندر بتاع برايفيكا ستارت اب بلوك تشين ستارت اب عشان مهمات المانا ريجن وهي هو اخر جولدن سبونسر معانا والله هيكلمنا عن موضوع من اكتر المواضيع انا بشوفها شيقه في عالم البلوك تشين اللي هو الريل وورد اسيت tokenization اتفضل.
Right. That is like well, just a little to this bit. Let's go.
And then I still was
How about the lead thing that was a stand that he was there. That's similar things to those who
all of these bacon gym outside so you got to one of this
the thing is best. Down there, it's all food. And then, actually, sad that something's going to be. Well, and then I'm not living. And I found that I was here was a private this thing. Private can get the this thing now right now. I would more get to read cantus going to be kind of blockchain. If you had my blockchain kind of meetup, then I think I need to be man need to read boss. This I was reading the mania field that I'm playing. I mean, can he has my kind blockchain meetup? كان في لسه البلوكتشين تبتدي تظهر شويه بشويه والناس تبتدي تتكلم سبيشالي مع المهم كده كان حصل مع قصه الكريبتو وربط الكريبتو بالبلوكتشين والدنيا بعد كده
الكلام ده كان في 2018 بالمره دي بالانجليزي. 2019 كنا برضه كده هنا جريت كاموس، وكنا عملنا زي برضه ميت اب بتتكلم على ده يمكن شويه على الامبلمنتيشن بتاع السمارت كونتراكت ده وتعدي السنين وأمريكا جت فندد من انتيس إسرائيل في الاندستري من الاندستري يقدر زي كريبتو فالي فيتشر كابيتال سويسرلاند 500 US بيتكوين فرونتير كذا دي سي كل ده فند هي جديدات فند البروجكت بتاعنا السيكونس. أمريكا ريسنتلي بعد ما أسست كمان في الإمارات خدت حاجة اسمها الفيوتشر 100 which is يعتبر من شركة بتغير اقتصاد الإمارات، ودي كانت ريكوجنيشن بالنسبة لنا يعني قيمة جدا especially إن أغلب الابلكيشنز على الكلام تبقى موجودة بشكل كبير هناك بسبب الريجولاريتي في الوورك يعني دي تبقى أسرع شوية في الحرب. فدي جيرني سريعة. أنا من تك باك جراوند 25 سنة بشتغل في تكنولوجي بيلدينج انتربرايز سوليوشنز سوفت وير انجينيرنج انفورميشن سكيورتي كريبتوغرافي، والماسترز بتاعتي كانت في الديجيتال كارنسي يوزنج تكنولوجي. فده سريعا ويقول هو اللي يبرم دايما كان بيسألوني ادفوكيت مع هاي فأمريكا هندور على اسم ريليتد شويه بداتا برايفسي، لان احنا اول انفراستراكشر بنيناها كانت مور تو ذا داتا برايفسي ريليشنز اللي هو كوميونيكيشن وازاي معاك حدث النوت وازاي ان احنا نسكيور الكوميونيكيشن ديت في المسجنج في الايميلز في الكولز على اساس ان الداتا بتاعتنا ما تفتحتش كده. فكنا بقى بندور على كلمه means privacy ولكن بلغات تانية فلقينا كلمة لكلمة privacy كانت كلمة privacy means rights أو حقوق في لغة سورية. فمرة بينا كان طبعا يقول أنت من سوريا صح؟ فقال لك دي MES دي معناها تعرفين دي كلمة في اللغة السورية. قلت له أيوة السورية أنا مش فاكر. برامجة بدأت إنها بتبني بلوك تشين انفراستراكشرز، وحتى السنة اللي فاتت كنا من ضمن 20 شركة على مستوى العالم تم اختيارنا من تي موبيل. أدي تي موبيل يو اس اي أكبر نتورك بروفايدر أو أكبر جلوبال نتورك أوبريتور في يو اس سكيورتي المفروض 300 مليون يوزرز حاجة كده يعني كبيرة، حاجة زي مثلا شركات الاتصالات مع النبي. فهم بيبنوا to the Web3 يعني they are invested in Web3 they have ones و they have two infrastructures وبيشتغلوا جامد في الحتة دي. استقبلوا بروبوزلز من العالم كله الناس اللي بتشتغل في الكوميونيكيشن زي احنا مش شغالين في بس ميتنج how to secure الكوميونيكيشن. فاختاروا هم 20 شركة 19 من يورو يو اس وواحدة بس من بقية الدنيا وهي براك. فكان بعد ما بدأنا وخلصنا الجورني بتاعت الكوميونيكيشن بدأنا نبص على انفراستراكشر تانية ونشتغل على انفراستراكشر تانية ليها علاقة بالمايننج تو كرنسي أو دايما بنحاول إن احنا نحل مشكلة مش نروح ناحية باز خلاص عشان يبقى البيزنس تراك سستينبل وقادر إن أنت تقوله بشكل يدي. من هنا بدأت قصة الار دبليو دي واحدة من الهوت توبكس اللي موجودة دلوقتي في السبيس. I believe in RWA هي one of the three use cases اللي أصلاً البلوكتشين يمكن يتوجد عشان الماركت بتاع RWA ده very أنت بتتكلم عن إن شيء 30 في عندك tokenized assets هنربع كده يعني إيه tokenized assets هتبقى it is equal to 26 تريليون دولار ده رقم كبير. في حوالي 20 تريليون دولار هيتوفروا في الساتلمنت والكليرنس لو انت لما يعني رؤيه الانفستمنت لغايه سنه 23. في عندك اسيتس هتبقى لوك موجوده على التشين بما يعادل 16 تريليون دولار. ده دي ارقام كلها كبيره تديك فيجن ان الماركت ده رايح لحته بعيده جدا.
السؤال اللي دايما بيصير من بيبعكي صدعت من الناس تورنوتي ايه هي بقى يعني هو الدنيا بعيد اساسا اللي كان يقول اللي هو ايه في بعض الناس بتدي البلوك تشين اكبر من حقها. في الاول في الاخر انت هي تكنولوجي مش مطلوب منها ان انت تديها اكتر من حقها، ومش مطلوب انك تحطها في كل وقت من الاوقات. يعني بص لو حبيت تكنيك هنا باك جراوند كمبيوتر ساينس كمبيوتر انجينيرنج والله اسف انا امبارح كنت فريزر فسالت السؤال ده ان ده اعتراض على ايده بقينا نتكلم كل اللي يكون بزنس وهيدا بزنس حاجه ضايقني فانها اتذكر اسبوع الوقت كانت في ناس فاهمها جايين سيتويشن بص مكان البلوك تشين فين داتا بيس هي حاجه صغيره جدا والله ما تدخلش اكتر من حقها وما تعقدوش دور سنجلر سب داتا بيس دي الامبريلا كلير. شوف اي بقى داتا بيس اللي انت بتشتغل عليها ماي سيكوال شوف ريفي هي اطول من قصه البلوك تشين دي بكتير. جوه الداتا بيس في حاجه اسمها الديستنت داتا بيس او لو انت بتتكلم بقى في ابلكيشنز السكيل بتاعها كبير بشكل مرعب فامازون في ناس دي ما بتشتغلش لما كانوا معايا الناس اللي بعدها مع التنس نيتس يبقى في قصه ثانيه في التي دي ام اس او هاو تو مانج الداتا بيس ترانزاكشنز اللي تتسجل عليها والباك اب وي جوه بقى الكلام ده شوف احنا لسه عمالين بننزل لغايه ما نروح للبلوك تشين نفسها. جوه الكلام ده بتتكلم على التي ال تيز او الستيمينج ديجيتال تكنولوجي اللي الحاجه من الداتا بيس كده اللي بس بتلعب في حته الليجر اللي هو اللي انا زي حساب البنك في ان واوت رقم عباره عن رصيدك وده انما ايه القصص دي كلها. فدي الدي اي تيز مثال عليها ايه الدي اي تيز عندنا في الاندستري او في البلوك تشين يعني في الاندستري اللي احنا فيها دي اي تيز ايكرلت اتس ا دي ال تي اتس هذا ادخل جوه بقى وتعمق اكتر خد نفس الدي ال تي بس اطلع بيها بيوز كيس واحده اللي هو انا عايز العب في الدي ال تي دي بابليك مش برايفت. عايز اخلي الموضوع فيريفايبل بابليك عايز اخلي الموضوع permissionless اي حد يستخدم الداتا بيس اي حد يكونتريبيوت جوه السيستم ده كله حسب اليوز كيس اللي الكبائر بتشتغل. وبص البلوك تشين فين هي جوه هي حته صغيره ما هياش الايلمان اللي بعض الناس ممكن تبقى متخيل هو بيست على اليوز كيس. انا شايف تطبيق لان انا النظاره بتاعتي اتكسرت دلوقتي مش شايف حاجه بس تمام يعني لو كيلو بص في حته ثانيه تمام وش هاي انا شفت حاجه رفعيه شفت حاجه بقت كده وبس طيب الار دبليو او الرين وورد اسيت توكنايزيشن الدنيا دي بس ايه بالظبط كل القصه ان انا عايز احول الاساس في البلوك تشين ان انا لقيت حاجه في التكنولوجي فكر من فوق لقيت حاجه في التكنولوجي تقدر تخليني اسجل داتا بشكل تراستد لان احنا عندنا مشكله الكوبي مشكله انت تبعت انا بعت لك صور تبعتها لصاحبك على الواتساب او اي حاجه او اي دوكيومنتس مش انا تقدر تفيرفاي ان دي اوريجينال او حاجه ده صاحبها غير التكنولوجي البلوكتشين هي اللي تبقى من اي حاجه ثانيه. عشان كده بدات اليوز كيسز اللي ليها علاقه بالاونرشيب هي اللي المفروض تبقى اقوى حاجه تستخدم فيها البلوكتشين. فالقصه كلها ان لما لقيت كتكنولوجي وايز يحللي المشكله دي ابدا ابص على اليوز كيسز ان انا احول اي حاجه فيزيكال ليلي احولها لديجيتال ريبريزنتيشن حاجه ديجيتال تقدر تبروف وحشه حته الاونرشيب. ثاني حاجه حته ان دي فعلا ليها اسم رقمي تقدر ان انت تستخدمه هتشوف بعد كده في ايه. فسيمبلي سبيكينج تعالوا نتخيل حاجه عايزين في مسرح اللطيف ده نتكنايز المسرح يعني تعال كده بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم انجليز تول فار
كده
نحسب مساحه طلعت مثلا 100 متر عايزين نقسم ال 100 متر دول 100 متر دول لما تيجي تشتريهم خلي تعالى تشتريهم هنا دلوقتي انا عايز اشتري هتبقى غاليه جدا صح؟ طب تعالى نعمل حاجه ثانيه تعالى نقسم ال 100 متر دول ل 100 يونت كل يونت عباره عن متر يا رب ونقول يا جماعه احنا هنطرح ال 100 يونت دول واي حد عايز يشتري يونت من ال 100 انت هتملك 1 على 100 من هذا الاصل. بعد كده زمان كان صعب جدا تعمل الموضوع ده وداوت البلوك تشين، لان مفيش حاجه تقدر بقى يبقى فيه حته الاونر شيب تمسكها. فسيمبلي سبيكينج انت تاخد حاجه فيزيكال تطلع الميتا داتا بتاعتها، وبعد كده بتبتدي تروح للمرحله اللي بعد كده انك بتستخدم السمارت كونتراكت عشان تقدر تحط شويه الداتا اللي انت حطهم دول الانفو بتاعت المكان ده بتبقى عرض اي مكان اليوز كيس، وبالسمارت كونتراكت تسكيور الكلام ده اون تشين، ويبقى فيه موجود في الوالد توكن بيريبريزنت الكلام. اوكي؟ فهي من هنا جت الار دبليو بي او ريل وورد اسيت توكنايزيشن. I'm going to tokenize everything. كل حاجه انت ممكن تتخيلها هتقدر ان انت تعمل لها توكنايزيشن. At the end of the day الارض العربيه بتاعتك هي والد، والوالد دي شايله كل ما انت تملكه. وصل يعني كان من كود او الاساس بتاع الموضوع. انا عايز اشوف بقى احنا ممكن نستخدم الموضوع ده في ايه؟ حاجات كتير جدا حواليه. دول هنا بس عشان يعني انا بقرا جدا لما بلاقي سلايد فيها كلام كتير. ساعات معلش هي فيها شويه كلام كتير، بس هو اليوز كيسز اكتر من كده بكتير، بس هو انت مش محتاج نقطه. تعالى زي ما حكينا في القصه بتاعت الريل اسيتس. الارت دي اكتر حاجه طلعت عملت بس في 22 حته الان اف تيز. وشفت دكتور الفيديو بتاع المزاد، الراجل اللي بيعمل كل يوم ديجيتال ارت، حد شاف القصه دي؟ وباع الدنيا كلها 5000 جمعهم كلهم في واحده، وحط 69 بعدها بص الاقي كل واحد تخش بقى على اوبن سي. اوبن سي اللي هو الماركت بليس، لو انت عايز واحد مصور صورته بعمل كده، صور صورته وهو عامل كده. ايوه يعني انت بتجيب في مصر عشان حد يجي يشتري دي، يعني في فاليو بيهايند. فهي الناس خدتها وراحت بيها في حته ثانيه خالص. الان اف تي ليها اكتر من 15 يوز كيس. انت عارف تعمل لي بشويه حتى بقوا يتريقوا على الناس، يعني اللي هو الجي باكس دي يعني هي اللي تستاهل الملايين اللي اتحطت فيها دي. الله يمجد. فحته الارت اللي انا تستنيني تاكل حته الارت ان انا اقدر اي رسمه اي حاجه فيها كريتيفيتي ان انا اسكن الداتا بتاعتها دي او الداتا على البلوك تشين. طب واحد يقول لي ده اوكي مش ده، انا ممكن اخش على بوبي سي اللي هو اكبر ماركت بليس للان اف تي، ورايت كليك وسيف ايمج از، بقت الصوره معانا صح؟ انت مسطعنا ليه بقى؟ واونر شيب واونر شيب. انا خدت الصوره، انت خدت الصوره بس انت ما تملكهاش. هو مفيش ديجيتال يقول ان انت مالك. او لما اجي اقول لك تبيع لي حق الصوره دي الاصل بتاعها مش بتاعك، لان انت ما معكش الكيمياء اللي في الوالد اللي تقدر تحرك بيه الصوره دي كاونر شيب من هنا. فهمت الفرق ازاي؟ عشان كده دلوقتي بقوا يعملوا ايه؟ بقى تكنولوجي جديده طبعا ان انت الان اف بي او الصوره ما تطلعلكش ثمن، تعمل حته صغيره كده منها تبقى كله جروب كده، بحيث ان انت لو عجبتك واشتريتها تقدر ان انت تاخد ايه؟ بقيه الصوره. الانفراستراكشر تعرفوا ان الكهرباء والكلام ده كله يقدر يصمم توكنايزيشن سبيشالي بعد موضوع السيلز بقى بتاعت الطاقه الشمسيه. ولو في انفراستراكشر موجوده في البلاد تقدر ان انت عندك كيلو واتس او اكسترا عنك تقدر تنقلهم لحد تاني، لان الموضوع ريبريزنتد بالتوكنز تقدر تريسيف انت البيمنتس كلها ثرو الوالد. ففي يوز كيسز كتيره جدا. الداتا بتاعتنا اللي بيرميها ببلاش دي لا، تقدر ان الداتا دي يحصل لها توكنايزيشن وتقدر الناس تشتري الداتا دي. نفترض داتا طبيه فتقدر تستخدم السي كي او الزيرو نولج بيز عشان يبقى الموضوع ما يروحش ناحيه شخصيتك انت، وتقدر بعد كده ان الداتا دي انت تمونتايز فيها من شركات الادويه و everything around you تقدر انت تعمل توكنايزيشن. في اهم الاسباب واي احنا عايزين التوكنايزيشن. عندك قصه الليكويديتي زي ما حكينا في قصه الريل استيت. الليكويديتي ان انا اقدر حاجه غاليه جدا اقسمها لفراكشنز، واقدر بالتالي ان انا اكسب ناس ما كانوش قادرين ان هم يخشوا يشتروا ويبيعوا في الام اس دي فما كانوش قادرين. حته الافيلابيلتي والترانسبيرنسي. تخيل انت في ماركت بليس بتخش تشتري وتبيع في قطع من الاراضي في التجمع او في الشيخ زايد 24/7. تخيل الماركت ده ممكن يتحرك يروح فين ويتحرك ازاي؟ as long as انت عندك الليجل فريم ورك اللي تقدر تتحرك فيه بحاجه زي كده.
فالايدياز اندلس لدرجه ان جي بي مورجان قالت لك على 2028 $5 تريليون حجم بس الحاجات اللي ليها علاقه بويل ستريت، يعني الانكيشنز والبونز والكلام ده قادر ان هو يعمل له توكنايزيشن. وهو شايف ان هو الاستيميشن بتاع جي بي مورجان واحد من اكبر الفاينانشال انستتيوشنز في اليو اس. الناس دي بيقول لك احنا رايحين ناحيه حته. الاسم ده واضح؟ سكيورتايز ده اشهر بروتوكول بعمل عشان الناس اللي عايزه تعمل RWA. الناس دول انتيكريز $47 مليون I فيزا 5 days ago. 47 مليون دولار. الارقام في البلوك تشين سبيس مش سهل انك تجيبها، بس لما بيجينا تبسط مشينا بتجري ورا ويطلع عايش بس مشكلة بتاعت الفند والانكستنت. لا هنا ممكن تلاقي جدا سوبرز ان انت تروح تجيب 3-4 مليون دولار انفستمنت لو انت عندك الفاليو الحقيقيه قادر ان انت تقدمها. هي مربوطه بقدرتك على انك تعمل حاجه فعلا ذات فاليو. الجروث وانت لسه طالع ما بقولوش اوكي 47 مليون دولار رقم. طيب ده التريجريز، عارفين التريجريز اللي هي السندات بتاعت البنوك والكلام ده. انا بس عايز اوريك الشيفت الكبير اللي بيحصل. 28/2/24 كانوا حوالي 665 مليون دولار توتال اللي بعمل لهم توكنايزيشن في اليو اس تريجريز. 3 شهور وصلنا لكام؟ 1.2 داخلين على 1.3 بليون دولار في 3 شهور شهر اكسبوننشال. ده ليه؟ عشان الدنيا كلها رايحه ناحيه الحكايه. فاحنا خلاص البذره اتحطت واليوز كيس موجوده والتكنولوجي بدات تبقى ماتيورد. سو هتبص تلاقي ارقام خد في RWA قريب. تعالوا بقى ناخد يوز كيس واحده لو في وقت. لا 5 دقايق 10. تعالوا ناخد يوز كيس واحده نشوف بقى اهميه التوكنايزيشن هنا في التجارات. اهم اسيت متهيألي عايزين نفكر ازاي نعمل توكنايزيشن الفلوس، مش كده؟ اهم اسيت حتى ايفن اي حاجه ثانيه نقيمها بالايه؟ بالاسيت ده. رحلة الفلوس في الحياة بتتطور من تاريخ لتاريخ، والتطور بيجي بسبب مشاكل طبيعي. يعني لو أنا عندي لما جيت أتحرك مثلا من البيبر ماني للبلاستيك ماني، البلاستيك ماني اللي هو الكاردز، كريدت كاردز اللي معانا أو الكارد بيمنتس. لما جيت أتحرك، لما رحت أصلا للبيبر ماني رحت لها عشان أنا عندي مشكلة، أنا مش قادر أشيل هذه الصورة من التلفزيون وأنا ماشي عشان ما يبقى رقم كبير ما ينفعش، لازم حاجة أسهل في الحمل وإن أنا أقدر أحركها. فبالتالي رحت للبيبر ماني. حد عايز أقول البيبر ماني طلعت أنت عند فين؟
سين.
مين؟
سين تقريبا؟
بلد. أنت فين مش شايف؟ إيه؟ أول حاجة طلعت كانت في الصين في القرن السابع. أوكي. أول واحدة طلعت في يوروب كانت فين؟ يعني بلد.
إيطاليا؟
لا. ستوكهولم السويد. طيب البيبر ماني بقى ما كانتش مساعدة قوي في حته الترانزاكشنز، يعني الجلوبال تريدنج بقى وان انا احرك فلوس من هنا لهنا. فبدا بقى او انت مسافر حته انك تشيل فلوس كتيره ورق. من 75 سنه بدات تظهر سنه 1951 اول كريدت كارد طلعت بعد كوف امريكا. حتى عارف قصه الكريدت كارد طلعت سببها؟ حد عارف؟ دولار سنة 49 هي طلعت 51 بس 49 واحد كان عازم 2 صحابه قال لي عازمهم على العشاء بالليل. هو راح الشغل وروح نفسه كده يلبس ونزل والراجل هو اللي عازمني. انا لا احس كده عليا طبعا. راح وخلصوا اكل وبص يدي ايده كده وما لقاش فلوس. افتكر ان هو نسي الفلوس بالشكل بتاعه اللي قلعه لما روح البيت. فجت في دماغه فكره انا عايز اي حاجه تبقى في ايدي تقول ان انا معايا فلوس عشان اقدر اعمل بيها ترانزاكشن. فبدات الفكره تتطور لغايه ما بقت الكريدت كارد او الكارد بيمنتس او وات اي لاف تو كول ات البلاستيك ماني اللي احنا ماسكينها في
طيب البلاستيك ماني دي لازم يبقى فيها مشكله عشان اقول ان انا هتحرك من البلاستيك ماني ايرا للديجيتال ماني ايرا. صح؟ يا الا مش هتروح. اقعد بقى فرغت مع نفسك كده، مش هتروح. مش هتروح الا لو في مشكله اتاحت عليك. طيب البلاستيك ماني عنده مشكلتين كبار جدا جدا. اول حاجه ترانزاكشن فيز. حد هنا يعرف حد عنده سوبر ماركت او المهم عنده بي او اس، ولما تروح تساله انت لو رحت مطعم دفعت الراجل اللي بره ده، انت بتشرب كابتشينو ولا حاجه، لو رحت دفعت الكريدت كارد هو عمره ما بياخد الفلوس اللي بتساوي، فهو بيحسب يستكي بسبب الفيز اللي بتتشال. حد جرب من هي مش من زمان شويه يعني، بس كانت لفتره تيجي تروح الادر كولايد ما ينفعش، بس لو هتدفع بالكارت هتدفع 2.5 زياده في المية. صح؟ عارفين دي ايه؟
دي الكوميشن بتاعتك.
دي الفيز الكوميشن بتاعت بشر كتيره جدا عشان يستلوا الترانزاكشن دي. تمام؟ فحته الترانزاكشن فيز عاليه ده رقمي. ده مش هكلمك على الاي كوميرس، الاي كوميرس لما تيجي تروح مثلا عن اشهر حد اللي هو سترايب. شوف بياخد منك حد جرب عنده ويب سايت له علاقه باي كوميرس وعايز يستقبل كريدت كارد، بتاخد منك كام سترايب؟
كل حاجه لازم تبقى بقى كونسترينتس.
او ساعات بتوصل ل 6% بيتاخد منك. فانت في الاول في الاخر هتقوم مزود الرقم ده على مين؟ على العميل، فالتالت اسعار ايه بتزيد شويه. تاني حاجه بقى انت بتسجل الترانزاكشن دي بعد قد ايه؟ يعني الراجل بيطلع عينه قدام، مش هذا الكاستمر يمسك الريسيت كده بطريقه يشيلهم عشان هو بالليل بيعمل حاجه اسمها باتش، بيقوم بيطلع الكلام ده كله او بيطلع اوتوماتيك اي مكان ويبقى حسب فلوسه لو هو سعيد الخاص. تاني يوم او وقت بتاخد وقت كتير.
اسبوع.
سيمبلي سبيكينج عندك مشكلتين كبار في البلاستيك ماني، الترانزاكشن فيز والايه؟
هذا فور وانت بتاعك
والسيتلمنت. طيب دول اللي بيستدعونا بقى ان احنا نروح للجوله الخامسه اللي بيخلونا ايه، يلا نروح بقى للديجيتال ماني. ستيبل كوين. الستيبل كوين اي حد دي علاقه شويه بالاندستري بتاعت الكريبتو عارف يعني ايه ستيبل كوين، صح؟ طيب الستيبل كوين اللي هي فكره انك تاخد دولار ورقي تروح حاطه في البنك وتطلع قدامه توكن backed by fiat currency one to one. يعني لما تطلع مليون توكنز يبقى عندك $1,000,000 في البنك. عارفين حجم الاندستري دي وصلت دلوقتي قصه ستيبل كوين وهي لسه بس في الكريبتو اندستري لسه ما خبطتش خبطتها اللي هتخبطها قريب اللي هقول لك عليه. كام؟ 156 مليار. 156 مليار، اكبر واحده فيهم يو اس دي. يو اس دي النهارده عندها تريشنز، يعني عندها الدولار اللي اتاخد في البنك معدي $110 مليار. يعني شركه عندها اسيتس بما يعادل احتياطي جروب مركزيه في 4 5 6 دول حوالينا. شايف الكورت وانت لسه بتقول يا عيني. تانية في القوه يو اس دي سي اللي هي طالعه من سيركل اللي هي طالعه من كوين ايه؟ من كوين بزنس. فده الاحكام. الناس دول خليني اقول لك ان كان التوب بتاعه هو كان اكتر من كده، بس كان التوب بتاعه $177 مليار قبل الناس بتاعت الماركت اللي حصلت في 22 23 وبدات دلوقتي تاني بص الدنيا بتبتدي تطلع تاني وبقى في ستيبل كوين ايشوز كتير جدا. لسه كنت في جنوب افريقيا من 3 اسابيع والناس بدات تطلع اللوكال ستيبل كوينز اللي هي مش باكت باي دولار ولكن باكت باي ايه؟ باي اللوكال كرنسي بتاعتي. خليني اقول لك ان التيثر اللي هي الشركه بتاعت يو سميث تمام؟ حجم الترانزاكشنز بتاعتها اللي عملتها في 2022 بيكسي اي كارت بيمنت نتورك، مع ملاحظه ان هي ده مش باين، ده لسه هي ما دخلتش جنيه، لسه ما دخلناش فيزا او ماستر كارد بيور بيمنت، صح؟ ما بتعملش حاجه، ده مجرد بس ساتلمنت للكريبتو اسيتس اللي موجوده في الاكسشينجز، او لما انت تبعت لحد وانتم متفقين انت استخدم دلوقتي طريقه من الكاف يذكروا بالعربي في السفر، تمام؟ كام؟ 18 تريليون في 2022 عدت المستقبل وعدت فيزا. انت واخد بالك من الارقام رايح فين؟ ولسه ما نقلتش البيت. اقول لك حاجه جميله، في المكسيك في ستارت اب دي ريس 9.5 مليون دولار عشان بدأوا يطلعوا بيمنت والت. احنا عندنا في الكريبتو في كريبتو والت صح؟ الدولة كان بيمنت هم بس بيطلعوا بيمنت. في فرق بين في اليوزر اكسبيرينس ما بين الكريبتو والت اللي نشيل كريبتو اسيتس ونكسيب تريس والدنيا المعقدة دي شوية، وما بين البيمنت اب اللي انت تستخدمه في بالانس وتقدر تدفع عليه بقى كونكتيفيشن واختلاف شويه كيوزر اكسبيرينس. فهم دي ريز 9.5 مليون دولار عشان ياخدوا البيمنت باك باي يو اس دي تي او يو اس دي سي غالبا بيطلعوه على سودان، ويروحوا يعملوا بيمنت سيستمز ويشتغلوا بقى على فيرجنز وكده. والميشن هيكتب حاجه زي كده. فالبيمنت يوزنج البيمنت سيستمز باكد باي ستيبل كوين حلوين. عشان كده برابيكا من حوالي سنين من شهر طلعنا من التست نت على واحده من البيئه من البلوك تشينز، طلعنا حاجه اسمها باي سبليت او الستيبل كوين ستوديو. وات داز ات مين؟ ان اي حد من اول السنترال بانك وانت نازل عايز تعيشه سي بي دي سي، عايز تعيشه ستيبل كوين، بتديك بعد كده ان انت ايه فلكس ايردكس عايز تحطها اون تيري قبل ان انت تستخدمه اس تي مع البيمنت سيستم اللي لسه حتى ازاي عادي. هوبفully نقدر نجيبها في بلدنا في البدايه. فانا رايش لي تم خلاص ثانك يو سو ماتش. عايز بيسأل ممكن أدير أسلم طب ممكن يتين بدي الصوت بلا تعطي
لا بريك استمع لها
في ايه؟
خلاص دي رايك بارك على دي
اس تنسيم بس برضه ممكن اقصى بيزيش هو كمان يمكن تقرا بكره حن
ده تنسيم
اتفضل. بص انا مش شايف حبايب سوي شعور
او لا لا
انت اللي قلت سي لا خلص هو انا مش اللي
هو ايوه
لما نتجاوب في الزبط.
انا كان عندي بس سؤالين ليهم علاقه
سؤالين
معلش سؤالين حاجه بسيطه ان شاء الله. بالنسبه للار دبليو اي بالنسبه للار دبليو اي انا الاول انا عمرو الحاروني بزنس اناليست في بنك مصر. كان عندي سؤال زي ما بقول لحضرتك بالنسبه للار دبليو اي الكونتريز اللي في المينا ريجن ايه الوضع؟ ايه الوضع بالنسبه للار دبليو اي بالنسبه للادوبشن للكونتريز في المينا ريجن؟ هل مصر بلان ان هي ادوبت حاجه زي كده او شيء؟ ايه؟ زيرو. طب في المينا
دبي بس بتطلع فوق في حاجه شويه ليها علاقه اسمها ستاك ستيك.
هو عايز اساله يعني عليه لايكس وبناء على كان بيختار كويس تستلم
مستشفى.
اتمنى الناس كلها تشوف الدونسون.
بدأت تصور
هيكون معانا في البانل يوسف كمال من الناس اللي خلت الميت اب ده يحصل، الفاوندر بتاع بيبل اوف داتا و في ماستر ودري في اي اي في ستارت اب ايكو سيستم والفاوندر اوف يوكليد سولوشن. تالي هيكون معنا 25 years of experience with AI, founder of DK and multiple startups. بيساعد برضه شركات انها تدخل ال AI solutions في الشغل بتاعها. محمد تيسير معنا من البانل اللي فاتت البانل بيجي في الناحية البلوك تشين بقى. كان في البلوك تشين ايكو سيستم من 2018 أو 19 صح 2017 founder of Singularity Finance. ومعنا باشمهندس محمد عبدو توم كلابيا founder and CEO of Publica. في كمية experiences رهيبة على البلد دي. أتمنى إن نكون we are استفيد منها and to know that
AI أستوليك والله أجل
طيب
Well, thank you. I don't. Thank you. I don't. I lost contact them. Thank you for attending today. The councils, the work that I've been talking to people outside. Everyone is super smart. Everyone is super smart here. This is very nice. I'm here to learn actually. So what I really like about this panel and this event is
connecting the AI community with the blockchain community. And one very cool thing that happened outside is the AI people asking about the blockchain, and the blockchain people asking about what is AI and how can I do that. So I've been receiving those questions, and this is why I believe that this session would be very, very cool to have. Our panel today have very, very smart people, and I would like to ask them a lot of questions. Also, I'm planning to talk with the audience, since you guys are very smart as well, and I'm going to highlight and some people that I know are very smart, and I will let them tell their stories. You know yourselves, okay? Like yeah. So first of all, I would like to ask you for the panel, how do you think AI and blockchain would be integrated in the startup ecosystem? Very simply put, I do have a startup. What do I do right now? I mean, you guys had a very lesson session on how can we utilize blockchain, right? But very simply put, how can we use that when it comes to AI and blockchain? Please, Tariq.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me, Yusuf, and I'm extremely excited to be together with my esteemed audience here. So, jumping straight to the point, as you know, blockchain. So first of all, how many people are somewhat familiar of blockchain here? Somewhat. And how many people can say confidently that I know everything about blockchain? He has a PhD. We don't know how many PhD students by that the university program. Many brothers. They had 30 audits, 30 times. So I think first of all, it's great to see that even academia is taking it seriously. Well, that's been the running joke, right? In the industry, blockchain is hard. If you can talk Bitcoin here, thinking literally goes. People, overthrows people, says people, not understanding what it is. So I personally believe that blockchain, or the technology behind blockchain, such as NFT, Web3 concepts, DeFi, this is decentralized finance, and then still I want to understand more, so I tend to go into more, so I want to know layer of architectures, and that's what got me excited about how can AI be used in blockchain. So a simple answer, I'm going to give a long lecture, is so where, for instance, in blockchain, there's still a lot of the labor arbitrage when it comes to having engineers working by it. And what we are seeing now in the last year with agentic AI, where we're moving at line chains and I'm teaching agents to actually add modules, we call, it's a terminology we're using in our own startups. We call them hyper automations. So if you use any HR platform or project-based platform like ClickUp or Monday.com, you have automations, right? You sell automations, companies sell automations. And now we are using the concept of hyper automation, where you are actually eliminating the human factor, and you're teaching the agents to be able to consult. So that's what I personally believe is the uses of AI in blockchain can be quantified, can be explained, and can be implemented. We still have a long way to go, but I think that's where I see value in it.
No.
Really good to see you. Then it's pleasure being here. Or I'm always happy to see many faces that are interested in these topics. So it's the future. Go to your question directly. I think definition. You have to really define your use case. AI and blockchain are both tools that you can use in building. Essentially, what definitions in multiple ways. So if you don't know what you're going to know, then you can say blockchain. It's like you're asking when blockchain first came out, people were like, how blockchain? We're gonna throw blockchain at anything, and I was better becomes utility token, or anything was up for grabs. So I think for startups specifically, I think what those kind of I call it infrastructural layer kind of technologies and goals. I think you require a clear defined use case so that you can build towards that. So, in terms of where they go, where the startup, so where their data layer is essential. Both of them require data sets, you require data sets, training your AI and so on.
So I think on the data management aspect, how you acquire those themselves, finding the ownerships and kind of like eliminate the bias. AI is kind of like, this is one tip for the patients where blockchain and quite better. And for startups, it's basically, again, just understanding how they're going to work together for your solution at the end, and stop and saying that you need to don't use one or the other or both even. And we've seen it up the cases actually, where I've been seeing what cost there is so what the companies are saying the same. So it's just really the financial uses. Well, that's the same evidence that the financial use case, like I have it here, you want to achieve. That's my answer. Really. Like that.
Thanks for having me for the second time. This is one of the hardest questions to answer. But I think when you zoom out and starting by the definitions, as you mentioned, what's the AI, what's the blockchain, so that you can define the common. So the AI and the core fundamental thing is about, make it correctly if I'm wrong, is about collecting a huge amount of data and writing modules that can learn from the behavior and so on, and start building something that can help us for the decisions that we sustain. The blockchain is something about to store the data in such a way that it's secure, it's private, verifiable, immutable, and so on. Personally speaking, still criticism. I didn't see something that we can collect goals together, and we can, with a very huge use case. Maybe we can have some use cases very small, maybe to tokenize something that's based on the AI as a final output in a certain product, whatever it is. And then you can see some tokens already in the market that you can call it AI tokens, that a product based on the AI, and then there is some items that you can tokenize, and then this is how the intersection. But to work in a harmony between all things, you need to find first of all the use case that really in a bad need for this. Till today, I'm still looking for.
If I can say something, Shish, other than Singularity, I'm with layer. There's a layer 1 blockchain, and our narrative is a layer 1 blockchain for data. Data aggregation, making sure that you get data sources from multiple sources aggregated in one place. Then we're going to see about how we can talk about with the AI side, because we're not there yet. We're working on it. A lot of companies are working on this. And I'm saying this. It will work in health. It will work in some of those things. This it's not there yet because the infrastructure is not there yet. How you're going to connect, we're not there yet. We're working on it kind of as player, but it's not widely accessible. But we can pinpoint, well, yes, it was an option. It's being useful. I can do something that is too early to this.
It's too early when it comes to having the data sets, but I think the blockchain, it's used by technologists. That's why we plan to learn as well. But blockchain has got huge material that's
right? So it's about the data management. Yes, depending on which blockchain. Blockchain interoperability is still a problem. So if you're going to be creating a robust model that's not biased data set, you need to have it across the board, and you have access to multiple data sets and multiple data sources that authenticated and so on. But once you have interoperability and value transfers, and value being just value of anything, not necessarily an quantitative value, but value transfers from one ledger to another, and so on, in a smooth and secure way, then you can look at how you would put implement one SaaS. We just published a paper. People would be interested in there. One of our co-founders, Nayashish, is a quantum scientist. We just published a paper on his consensus learning, which combines the machine learning process with on-chain data, essentially. But still, it's conceptual stage. We had to investigate helping with that, because not all data are on-chain as well. And you have data sets that are off-chain data. We utilize Oracle systems and the likes to bridge that kind of data only to break it on-chain somehow. And then you can look at a fully AI solution that's running fully off blockchain. But realistically speaking, when you look at an enterprise solution or looking at a real-world solution, it's going to be a hybrid of a marketplace with a blockchain layer, like
on that. And this is where it's tracking the usage of the data sets and not that this is very the data sets is on a blockchain. But the management aspect of how you, the permissions of how you access the data and how you get back the money or you get back the repay like the owners of those data, that's where you can use blockchain in today's world. But AI and blockchain, that in the sense of that marriage, what you're talking about, is not there yet. I mean,
Like that's very good to know because I've been like AI engineer, the AI company, I've been trying to find this marriage in a way to try to be the forefront of like the technology. I have never find that. I've seen some people in the blockchain community that are doing fraud detection on the blockchain. So to try to understand where the networks of the people are doing some frauds, which in very few cases one, but it's still going. It's one of the biggest.
so let me give you a real world use case. So there was, I think a year ago, 2 years ago, there was a Dutch company that won a 1.5 million euro funding, and there was a competition. So the whole idea is about misinformation today. Obviously, AI is a lot of statistics. It's not only the going exciting goal that is for all of us to actually do stuff out of it, but it's also creating misinformation that isn't published. So if CNN publishes an article and then a few nanoseconds later, it's already spread into various channels, some even look like CNN. So you have and that manipulation in that content already you're told.
Yeah.
How often and how fast we use read news. We don't have time, so we just say this thing happened, and then you read this, the little abstract of the news, and then you doesn't know that you watched from real CNN, all this or whatever. So what they came up with this idea was timestamps. So the timestamp, they used the hyperledger sort of concept. And today, so for instance, if there is news, a credible news source is publishing a news, the timestamp will define the validity and the veracity as to the truthfulness and the correctfulness of that information. So Reuters or Wall Street Journal or any other local so reliable news channels. And so there, I mean, if you can tokenize, it's obviously that you already have the timestamp. So you're literally news is coming out and you have to keep filtering out the fake against the real and keep pointing the readers towards the real news with that timestamp that it also goes spam. And that'll really help me filter all the useless disinformation and just go and read the news that is being timestamped. So I think that is a perfect use case where now I still don't know how and why the AI. Yeah, it's not needed all the time. Like you don't have to brute force to use technology because you're not pitching to VCs all the time. You can tell what we've seen. I have a Web3 and AI blockchain, and VCs already sort of swimming through. So I mean, pitching. I mean, just being it simple. You have a use case, want to solve that problem. So that start by is raising something about $15 million already, and no one even knows about it. And this is the beauty of all this, right? So I think it's about finding that use case, just stay quiet, keep building your team. So today what they're doing is their approach is super simple. I'll look up the name and I'll share with you guys some point of time later. So now they are building plugins. Okay? So they said, okay, listen, it's fine that we're going to go after Wall Street Journal, all those guys, but they're building out WordPress plugins. So now imagine if you had invited a guy who's built a WordPress plugin, he wouldn't even care because he doesn't have the buzzwords which we are all looking for. So my advice is also to sync through the BS and kind of distill down to the use case that is solving. And in the ability when the blockchain first starts sort of take off as results, these are the guys who are going to be a startup with $1 billion or $10 billion valuation. So I think really a use case like that was fantastic. I was like, wow, it's a very simple use case. And now it's a simple model team in Utrecht region in the Netherlands, and they're just building it out quietly. So that use case is a perfect example. And I'm sure the application of fraud detection, you can start saying, build a tool around it. You can add more service stack to it, right? So timestamping is a make sure it's valid. And then the other use case we actually pitching it to those and when I took back and said, hey guys. So the other is to start creating, and we have actually an app, that's why I'm thinking about it, to detect facts. So check the facts already.
And in fact, even the credible news source, you can say, is it really true based on the TV announcement that happened because the Prime Minister or some of the negotiators were saying other things. So you can really, really crystallize and use AI actually to fight misinformation in the content itself, the distribution of the content, to use hypermetric technology to make sure this is valid. So this is the perfect use case actually. I just came from with it right now. Because I knew what they were doing, but I had no idea 4 or 5 years ago because although it's AI ideas floating around. So I think I will urge everybody to think in that direction. Don't force it. Let it come when it comes and when the time is right for that technology to integrate in your stack. Okay.
Thank you. I really like that. Just going to the DCs and telling them that we're having AI up to component in the company, so that please put the video out of it. Yes. Okay, but what do you think is the right way for a startup? I mean, you have an AI research lab in Netherlands, in Canada. You are building your very own knowledge language model, and you are paying $10 million for that already. How do we integrate AI? Not the manage of AI on blockchain, but how do we integrate AI in our startups, the companies? What are the handy truths that only all of the audience and everyone can utilize? Like if there is combination that we have, the Q&A is about, for instance, part of it when it comes to AI. I mean, we have a lot of questions about that. So how do you advise us of that?
So I'll give the advice short, but I'm sure my colleagues also have great advice. So we thought about this. So when the blockchain discussions were coming up, we built a Web3 app for one of the solutions which I was having my team build already. A regular sort of AI app. So actually, it was a visual training. So we have a startup called BirdScan, and under that startup, we are also sort of trying to understand how can we quantify sort of energy usage and energy generation from the windmills. And so I said, we were building a digital twin to my colleagues in India. They built a digital twin, and then they used the Web3 to actually start looking at the depletion level of energy as the solar farm that is powering this wind park is, tends to start providing less energy, so that becomes an expensive operation to actually run that farm, right? So you have to use pumps, literally, power generated pumps to actually power that, because you have sold that huge block of housing complex that you're always sending it green energy. Sure enough, I mean, we have in the Netherlands, we still use oil and gas to power homes, but let's say those green fuels that is coming up or housing it to set up, this is pure green setting. There you have to make sure that otherwise sort of fluctuate between energy is free. Sometimes the energy cost is in the negative because the sun is shining so hard that solar panel is sort of like pushing using the wind farms, converting that into electric energy and supplying it to homes. But there we actually created a simulation app in which we could see the energy level depletion, and then we could already start looking at. So you have to connect with the other trading platform like bunch of oil and gas trading platforms in the Netherlands. So you can connect to those guys, spot buy the gas price at the cheapest point, which can predict that interval already 3 weeks in advance, and you already start spot buying the gas actually because that's a certain euro cents or actually €2 or something per cubic meter. So that means to actually start using a Web3 concept, and then perhaps sure enough, when you start getting enough data, you need to also you can actually start working together with the trading platforms to create your own trading platform for your energy sort of management system from the alternative energy perspective. So that is where I think there are many use cases. And an application for such kind of use cases where it's going to starting from what am I doing, how can I build something, and then I think try to see if you can. Blockchain is not the answer. Try to also use the NFTs aspects. We're talking about trading in between the houses as well, people, because what happens is people have their own solar panel, most of the large solar farms, you will have that supplies to that specific block of houses. People also in the Netherlands, like these, and I'm sure from YouTube, people have it in the city. People have their own, because they don't harness their own energy. but then they want to train with each other. So that can become an exciting platform you can actually create. These are all greenfield bats, even in Europe. No one is building these today. And in Egypt, where literally cities are sprouting out of the ground, you get some of those platforms. So this is the time to actually conceptualize, build, write a lot of papers around it, learn from other academics who are actually have done this. They've been doing research since the 1990s, at least in these specific areas of DeFi, the hyperledger technology, because as you know, Satoshi wrote this paper back in 1993, as you guys know, some of you may know, the first paper on Bitcoin. So I think those are the kind of things that's where there's a lot of information on also hyperledger technologies. So that's what my advice would be.
One of the interesting use cases is fraud. In actuality, it's one of the main use cases being used for fighting anti-money laundering, all the financial crimes on-chain. And most of the on-chain analysis companies like Chainalysis and the likes offer that this is for government entities and so on. And that's why most of the hacks that have been done can be tracked and the wallets are already blacklisted and so on because they offer that service. Actually, MasterCard acquired the largest AML anti-fraud detection company on-chain because MasterCard is very active on payment system, looking to works better than the watches. So it's already a working model. But that's the thing. This is literally what we were talking about, where you have a layer of data that's on-chain that has, and we're taking that essentially that public data, and you're basically running that algorithm to kind of like identify some workers and so on, and kind of follow the money, like literally follow the money. It's as simple as that. But that usually is very but it's not really trained that AI specifically on that specific data. It's just running the algorithm after it's been trained to identify the market rate and then forward and so on. So it's just digests the data that's obvious, but it's staying running on chain, depending on data system to excel. But it's where you can use AI, the blockchain, but then it's already very different. It's as financial firms where you can anti-money laundering is done. It's one of the things that has opened out like Bitcoin is not actually used for money laundering as much because the things and crypto, because it's an infinite forever transaction net transactions are never going to go in. Once the tools get vetted, they will know who you are. And that's good. Thinking that blockchain is anonymous. Everyone in the retail world interacts with blockchain through a centralized exchange. So your KYC is somewhere. And all the transactions are on the block forever, as long as the blockchain is there. So by default, your transaction history is forever. So it's tracking it. It's traced 100%. The anonymous element comes from the private keys. Now they figured out that a lot of people actually call them main names. And now we have main name service and stuff like the public key. That's just your identifier, which is a string of numbers that you're not known. Oh no, you're known. Or it's transacting in Bitcoin or whatever. Governments will know who you are. It's not about you. It's about who's controlling the front business, the real flow. And it's got the atoms that's correct to do it. And that's where AI is a great tool when in any startup that has large data sets that they want to start running analytics. And when they're getting more out of their data, essentially, that's the greatest way for better. It's not really better with you with AI, it's just that you can shorten the time period that it required to do the analysis by a magnitude. And with machine learning, you don't need to really come back and tell it, oh, you made a mistake here or whatever. It can rectify itself later on so that you have minimal interaction with the algorithm while it's running itself and spitting out that whatever analytics you want essentially. I think for use cases and so on, energy is a great energy transition brought up energy transition. I think back in 2018, one of the largest energy companies in Japan was working on a decentralized certain network, kind of like try to decentralize the energy transition, and they failed because the hardware element is still a problem. There's a lot of things that are off-chain that would require this to be on-chain so that it can run that system. Basically, have to have it work. So there are a lot of limitations in terms of like to I think there's a big misconception by the PC world and the startup world on where we actually are with the technology and what we can do and what the limitations are. And I think a lot of the builders in the ecosystem are really focusing today on fixing those problems to that it buys it for 9%. Not all blockchains are, let's say, builders friendly. Some of them are very complex systems that require you to really understand the concepts of blockchain and to have a proper use case that would require this tools. It's not just about dropping the digital art, NFT, or Ethereum, like bunch of big ones or something. And that these are great, but these are for me. This is not the real utilization of blockchain. There's so much more. Yeah, supply chain, digital identity, real world assets are becoming again a topic and a hot topic again, but it's been around since the beginning of the conversation with blockchain. So I think as use cases, as I said earlier, well defined, so that you don't waste your time and you're not just building something for the sake of building, and it does have a real commercial value from an investment standpoint or enterprise standpoint.
And then know the fact that everything is based right now, and what I know is that you cannot reach the owner of this wallet, but now we say that you are KYC somewhere. So
there is a conceptual exchange. In fact, it's data. So they have your data. There's an account.
nice.
Up at there's a full transaction history from where the Bitcoin, where the ownership of that Bitcoin, where the ownership of a specific token or a specific ledger. There is a full record on where it was and who owns it now. Even if it's a string of numbers, you can easily run an AI to start identifying the movements of. It's a very old concept in financial crime. You always follow the money.
That's what I'm saying.
Just follow the money, the movements of the money. You will find somewhere where it has a piece of data that tells you who this person is. And already all of those IT fraud companies offer the services for most blockchains and most the decentralized apps or dApps, essentially the service of blacklisting specific wallet addresses that have been known to be associated with specific hacks. When someone is hacked and they literally know where the money is and they keep watching the wallet, if there's something that's how do they identify? And that they get because so that's they know.
Yeah. And I presented that says when it's not about you, it's about the DeFi. This entire system is not about who you are, it's disappearing. So we thank you with that.
Yeah, so it's full out there, super. This is the Cohost of the public. So it's a public ledger. This is a permissionless. Anyone can start tracking the asset from its inception until it to their account. And then, even if you're gonna keep it in a non-custodial lab, go for it. But it's not going to stay like this forever. At the end of the day, you need to cash out. So this is the time you will get the biggest damage. And maybe your account is gonna be suspended. Because they know that it's, and anyone can do this. So this is back to the thing of, but one of the hardest cases to solve in the traditional finance and banking is the money laundering. Because if you'd like to solve a money laundering case, you need to interact with tens of banks or maybe hundreds of banks worldwide. Everyone has his own ledger closed, no one can access. But in the public chains, everything in front of everyone. So this is about the financial side for the anti-fraud. But still back to the use cases and how we can work with how this managed relationship between AI and blockchain. I think at the time of the whole there was more and more products, use cases, applications that can generate more and more data on chain. This is the time, and it's gonna come out of nothing. There's an AI systems will come at that time that can analyze this huge amount of data and it can learn from the behavior. It's about trading patterns, so you can forecast when people going to sell Bitcoin, whatever it is. based on the news coming out, based on reaching numbers of the people who like to sell at that time. So as much as the amount of data going to be increased by time by using more products, this is the best time when you start thinking about the integration with the AI systems or models that can learn from these data. You can come out with the decisions, maybe advices for the decision makers to take as a CEO of a company.
And that covers also the part of having the patient for people. Well, correctly if I'm wrong, was that sort of the problem of the governments because they always claim that crypto is bad?
Absolutely.
Yes, because of the visibility.
I think there was a report which is in a couple of years ago, 2022, by the end of 30, it came out with the statistics with the total amount of people holding crypto in the millions. And guess what? Give a percentage range. Give a percent. It was more than 4% back in 2022 of the Egyptian population dealing with the crypto. How they get
Second place.
the second highest in the region?
Right.
How they get this? How? From the exchanges. Because you go to the exchange, you put your passport, whatever it is, or even by IP tracking, any transaction you are doing in the centralized exchanges like Binance, whatever it is, and they are collecting this amount of data and super. You know everything. So when you try to follow the amount of financial crimes and fraud in the industry of Bitcoin, whatever it is, in the crypto industry, you see a big decline since the inception of the centralized exchanges. Because they know it.
Yes. Do you think it's a strong point and you need to say that you won't crypto coin? Can we say that, people? That's so sorry. Interestingly enough, crypto is completely illegal. Trading is illegal. Well, there's no other app outside. That's official.
Yes, sir.
I don't advise anyone to trade crypto.
Sure.
That being said,
Yes.
the amount of crypto traders that exist in the Egyptian ecosystem are huge. And we're talking that I know people from Bybit and big guys and the top exchanges have been already. Bybit has watches, the number one representation of an Arab world on their demographic in terms of the large Egyptians. So the number one Arab traders on Bybit are from Egypt. That's by number of trades.
That by gold.
Not by volumes, by number of trades.
Right.
In all developing countries, when you have a problem and people are trying to find the hedge, people have always looking for some more to make one. It's pure and simply.
Just fact.
But and there are no real the prohibition doesn't work because there are no real restrictions where the government can actually control that can stop you from getting into it. That's the whole idea of Web3. That's the whole idea of Bitcoin. It came up with the demise of the financial sector after the financial crisis when no one trusted the banks and I needed to have my wealth in my pockets that when I want to scoot, I can scoot, take all my money and no one tells me anything. With the name of traceability, now there's a lot of talk about zero knowledge tools. Zero knowledge. With zero knowledge, you would have that layer of privacy as if you're dealing with cash. Because the information that tells you who sent what, it's within a secret. It's kind of, I'm not a technical person, so I'm not the best person to take it from the technicality of zero knowledge. But this is one of the hot topics today, which is combating the idea of a central bank system. And that's how governments would want to act on the trackability and traceability power of a cryptographic token that's linked to a ledger. That's not necessarily public. It's just that they know the truth.
And every single transaction that we take with that token will be recorded to that token, to that transaction. In addition to that, I can make your money expire after a specific while if you don't use it. So savings goes out the window. There's nothing called, I'm gonna keep my money for 100 returns. If you don't spend your money in the next 50 days, it will go to zero. That I can program. I can tell you what you can use it for and what you can't use it for. I can limit your purchasing power. I can limit your purchasing power to a geographic location. There's a, it's a very dystopian way of looking at savings is because there are a lot of economic value added in savings. But you can't negate the forms of control that can exist there. In addition to having an AI there, kind of like literally digesting all of that information out there. Look at the social square system that exists in China.
You spend this hot budget.
That will give evidence now.
Yeah, I think I have nothing to add. What I'm getting loaded to guys some learning, so this is very educational for me as well. I think right, really the number of Egyptians versus the transaction wallet rules, and these potential regulations don't make me feel very comfortable about it, because as you gather more information that you will use AI, because transaction is, perhaps a multi-way traffic, you can trace it, traceability, you can try to stop that traffic by sort of defining let's say the end of life or the DOL, rate head of the transaction. Then the good or the bad side could be you get insights, so kind of right engine. The downside is you can define those, jail rules to kind of, to enforce a certain monetary, superstructure defined on one is follow the money, the other is follow huge trends. So today, in a strange, weird way, as you very rightly said, money laundering is the biggest thing in Netherlands as well. We have 3 banks that have already allocated out. They almost 10 billion collectively. So fines to the government because they were not efficient enough to be able to have fight fraud online transactions. So cash coming in from different banks, from the eastern part of Europe and other parts. And so the simple question was, and I worked with those banks when I used to be a consultant 10 years ago. So this question came to us and we were sitting together with, our finance minister used to be the chairman. He became the chairman of the bank of Netherlands, literally sitting face to face. So I said, it's impossible for you to tell us that if you give us the access to the data, that we cannot build a pattern recognition to even identify when transactions are being suspicious. Sometimes people are pushing $20,000 and that is happening 10,000 times. It stops. What does this mean? A stop at mom and pop shops like that. Or, other constructs as right venture that are others of banks, the little set of banks, community banks, institutional banks, charity banks and all that. And no one knows how they operate, how they're operating. They're all in collusion with this bank where you can transaction. So there's a given build or actually non-build to actually participate in such crypto technologies. This is a blockchain to identify. But you don't even need that. People use machine learning already 10 years ago to literally, it's almost like online fraud and online, let's say, bullying, which are in the system there are the government law enforcement things to electronic monitoring. You can do that in transaction because it's just the numerical values and you have the flows, the trade flows, and you can actually literally you have a KSRT, I think that's trading. So you can actually literally sort of define the patterns and start actually finding the direction. So you want in the book, you come in and say, stop this transaction right now. So, it's because of collusions. There's a lot of money being paid, right? That's why the whole thing about was distrust in banks came in place. But to me, the last words you use, to me, it feels strange. If I invest in crypto, if I haven't used it, if that money goes away, I lose the cash that I'm using, the whole banking system to purchase this, unless I'm using something black money or something that I would rely on with that. And I think that
everyone's familiar with the FICA regulations that came into EU that kind of like regulates statement plates. And I think it was so Station General that came out with their first stable euro, and everyone kind of like made fun of it because it had a function in it where they basically can go into your wallet and take away that stable coin, which goes against the whole purpose of having a stable coin in crypto, because they can literally go and take your money. So no one used it, but it was by national bank. It's a regulated stable coin, and I think PayPal did the same thing with their USD stuff, because I think by the requirements of the regulators is that they need to be able to call back the value, essentially. And that takes away from the crypto side. So whether we're going to see government regulated, and that's why a lot of people still use the traditional stablecoins like Circle and the shows, because they don't have that stupid cost or that literally it's a code on in the smart contract for them to be able to go in, take the money from your wallet out, that's not. So what are the provisions or regulations around that outside off-chain? We don't know. But on-chain, they can do it with us like a bot.
Yeah, but good news is none of us are crypto investors. So, yeah,
You can Google fake now. Does anyone know anything about fake now? Fake from crypto. So fake now is something that's already issued back, I think, June 2023, right? So the fake now, it's not by blockchain, by the way, but it's how, when you convert money to the digital format, how much control the government can, like literally what you said from a while. They can stop you from using our wallet in a grocery, if you are super heavyweight, for example. They can stop you from using the money that's already bets or pigeons in the gas station after you are exceeding your limit, for example, and so on. So this is how they're gonna control the way of how we are storing the value, how we are interacting in the financial industry, and so on. So it's all about time. You will see it now, next month, in the next year, I think.
Keep an eye on carbon credits in the next months, and your carbon footprint. Keep an eye on that, because it will be direct in proportionate to your spend and where you're able to spend on. Because if you surpass your carbon footprint limit, you're not able to spend any. Yeah. So it just done to spend it. It's up until you can always go soon. Or you find more permit that we can better restore. But that's the gift us and
This was car battery and
that we can put your looks because it's covering thing before. Okay, so it says 30 years, but we have measuring the time and have lots of very interesting questions come that we is. So this question for you is starting come about it. It's a very interesting session and covered a lot with this chart of the data being the towers going to the. So the question is, what platform is that there's one you need to learn work like will be able to read the career both for AI and blockchain and let's focus on the blockchain on the part two.
Developer, you need to know what's the roadmap, right? It's the question.
Listen.
Okay. So first of all, if you are coming from computer science background, so fortunately, you know what is like problem solve that, what is algorithm, what's and so on. So I believe you just need to start interacting with the real ones, and fortunately, everything is a quick source to talk already. So you go, for example, NVIDIA, and then you can go to the documentation, and then with a little, just small knowledge in JavaScript, you can start learning about Solid, which is a language used to develop smart contract and so on. And then you need to understand the architecture of this smart contract and how it interacts with the native token of that network. How can you deploy this smart contract after developing? You can go to the testnet for this network. You can start interacting with these things, and then going bigger, start interact with more chains, because every single layer one has its own protocol, has its own smart contract language. So you can use Move in whatever the chain, you can use Clarity, you can use Solidity, and we discussed some now, we can use Trust at some. So, but take it step by step, and then start interact with use case. Just think about any use case that you need to convert to real time, and then start implementing it and use the test net for this network to deploy the contract, and then find somebody to be your friend. He helps to interact with the front end, so he can play the role of front end guy, and they can connect the front end side with the smart contract, and then interact on chain. So you can take it step by step. Everything is open source in the blockchain industry. I don't know about AI. So everything is open source in the blockchain industry. Smart contracts already, the majority, like I need to know how the smart contract of a stable coin of TH, which is the issuer of USDT, how it works. You can go to that Ethereum site, you can go to that transparency section, you can see the address of the contract owner, go to the Ethereum network, extract the contract, open the code, and here it is. Right. So it's all about your passion and your consistency to keep learning, try and error, and then you will start to build your knowledge. That's it.
You make it seem super easy and super. It's not going to get cycling. It's levels. Like one of the best things about the tables in commerce points. One of the best things about blockchain as an industry is that the most important stakeholder within blockchain companies is their community. So you really have literally from hundreds of people to thousands of people to hundreds of thousands of people that would be super happy to be helpful, guide you to the right sources, give you better documentation if documentation doesn't exist with that chain, because this is something that you might run into. They have bad documentation. And it's great to interact with their communities on Discord, Telegram, and so on. Telegram is mainly for like the normal community, but Discord doesn't have to know yourself. I'm about to assume that people use Discord. It's a community kind of like management app. They're able to find like specific channels that are directed to developers with their questions. A lot of the communities run AMA sessions with their dev communities and their developers, like in-house developers, so that we can answer ongoing problems with the community. And sometimes, most of the time as well, the community members are the ones that point out some of the problems in the algorithm or the actual code, and they require something or better documentation that clarifies something and so on. So the relationship is very symbiotic. Like, we work together to make the network works, because the whole essence of blockchain is that if we die out, this whole technology is going to continue forward as long as there is a community propelling it forward. That's the whole idea of business. That's the beauty of the open site green. It's continuous development, new ideas. It's all about collaborative mentality. So just be open to acquiring new skills and acquire new knowledge. And accept it and move forward. There's nothing bad or good about blockchain or crypto. It's a new tool. I'm not saying hammer is good or hammer is bad. The vendor is good, the builder is bad.
And I just recorded an AI class for learning there. I said, do we have a bunch of open source of the AI at work? And I think it's sort of me and again giving you lectures from what you guys are probably already thinking. There is so much. How many people have actually built a serious application using computer vision or language model? I mean, I'm using language model as a term, NLP, and all the 660 fancy words this year is about. Okay. How many people have fundamental understanding of AI? So, very good. So I think this is actually good. The second question, I think it makes me happy. So, back in the days, and when I say back in the days, you would go, I think the 1960s, 70s, there were theoretical perception models. That's how I'm looking at Point and Bitcoin. Fortunately, we have technology, we have platforms today that enable people to actually quickly build things. So AI has been a sort of a dream that has been up 60, 70 years to complete its inception. But the acceleration started happening when back in 2012. And so what we thought, what was the most important thing for me, I was back then I was working at a large strategy consulting firm. I was heading a practice for data. We used to call it data analytics, relying on AI, machine learning, internet. So what I said is that, okay, I quit my job. My co-founder is there. She also my wife. So I told her, I actually, if I want to build something, this job is very restricted no matter, we were doing great stuff here. So she said, okay, listen, you have to explore this. You want to build this company's ground. So we was, let's build something together, in which our team members know foundational concept of AI. So in the end, we ended up actually going and developing internals like activation functions, optimization functions. So one of our activation function is Kungo, this value. How many people know what value is? What is it? What is value? Can you define I explain the term?
Which I could say is an activation function and you're going to be like joke.
Yeah, but what is it? It ratified linear ULA. So maybe the value which is invented by Google. So what I'm trying to say is that happened because we had access to knowledge and it was also open source. But we invented that stuff, so you could actually go into the depths of deep learning or machine learning and understand how computer vision works, how language processing or natural language processing works. Language models are an extension actually of computer vision, and these four modalities, that's what you see, right? So the GPT-4o is basically four arguments, right? So it's four modalities. So I think for becoming an expert in AI, I would say it's good to have foundational understanding, because you can go and pinpoint the question right to the core. You can open up the source code if it is closed. You could solve that problem. The problem is if around in this world now, because AI is becoming a mature industry, so there's a battle of open source and closed source. Companies like OpenAI chose to not open source, and to be very honest with you, because they never had intentions. Because I know the guys on 26 days already, so there was no intention. It was just all the robotic stuff they were doing. They would also score being over this, but I get him to observe sort of way to it at those guys, because it's not open AI, but they never had that intention. But that's okay. Gemini is not open sourced. We're not writing open it. So the thing is, fortunately, Zamas and all the other stuff that is coming out, the stuff that we're building, we have our first model already ready. We are going to open source it as well. So we believe that you can do two things. You can open source, you call it an economy class model. So all the modalities are going to be over the course of years. And then we can build, because customs say, I want open source, and you sort of define it and optimize and fine tune it. That unfortunately we will not share with the public, because I'm going to share our customers, the banks and the oil and gas guys. We're not going to put that on GitHub, right? So I think I also have this that you have to continue to provide the industry so it lasts longer than you. All right. Fortunately, we are encouraged that there is enough closed source and open source models in AI. There's adoption happening, so it's going to help. But my advice is going to be, there's a ton of stuff. We resell those. There's other ones started. We have called Live AI. We have programs that are defined, by your skill set level. If you're a beginner, and those all the lectures, and I have provided the lectures, so you can hear my voice. I can do 4 hours. So I literally sort of try, just like Andrew Games, so that's a similar kind of structure we have. So you literally can learn it. There are coding exercises. There's enough stuff out there to learn. So fortunately, just like crypto and maybe it's blockchain as a corporate wallet, a bit ton. There's enough open source out there, and you define the path of what you want to do. So there's going to be sufficient stuff which you can transport to this region, fine-tuning to the localities based on the modality, like it's a language. So how do I build a language model that is question for our region, for a different region? And I think you can do that thankfully with models.
like wow that are out there. And I was like, stop all this by the way. So it's going to be released in the next couple of months once we've done the testing. That's where I might not.
That's the only. And what person? Is you have more questions?
Okay, see. Oh, I mean, everybody is going to get access. But it's going to be, we're going to release it on GitHub. So when you look at download, the models will be downloaded. We'll put it up on Tor. So you can download those models and do whatever you want to do with it.
Go might actually had a question.
Yes.
And so I usually kind of, I've had a few conversations with a bunch of people on AI. What is really apparent is that, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation, what your input on that. The way I see it is that you will end up with the same way we ended up like layer 1 and layer boundary. You're going to end up some layer 1 AI and layer 2 AI that's top of it that offers a more, let's say, industry-related or industry service, like what they're calling AI agents today is going to be more robust or whatever. But I think, do you think that how many open AI and Gemini's those things had those large models that have those kind of data sets under it? And then because of this, would you agree that it's going to be types of those models with layers and layers and other solutions that utilize those models, but can analytics and I look for a way of way ingest it how would you say that? And how does it get to layer 1 established?
So I think the layers, so I could legit for the view on a layer approach. So listen guys, I mean, most of you don't do science, right? So you know the OSI mix, right?
Yes.
So how many layers of the OSI? Yes. So listen, the stuff is still there. Like TCP/IP is not one layer. You can call it whatever we want to call it. So that layer is still going to be there. So what we're seeing is people are tinkering with ideas in AI around Python embedding. Can I build an operating system around this? So you still have to go back to the old layered approach of OSI, right? So because this has to be on a laptop, it should not like 3 billion or 7 billion or 30 billion model. I think hardware appliances will come over time, I think. So I have a feeling the layered approach is still going to contain the OSI, but stacked up in which the memory cards, there are custom chips being built in the Netherlands. We have all stars building custom chips as we speak that are literally integrating those algorithms and also trying to work memory module into it. So, what would be for 3B versus a 7B versus 30B. And there's another one, I know there's startups that come with a big crazy ambition to have 400B sort of safety bots to build. So quantization is something that's going to help us get efficient. So I think it's not about having like 20 Geminis. It's not going to help the industry. I mean, it's great for you to brag, right? So for us, Hominus was not a bragging point. What we said, so what is the problem? Why do we want to build more on this? So we said, one, there is no bias mitigation in the OpenAI Llama as well. There are a bunch of Chinese models of them. So we said we're going to design the data preparation, data ingestion, training to ensure that there is bias mitigation. Super difficult, it's not easy. So there's still going to be bias in our models. Second, we said, what is the other problem that no one is solving? So the other problem was quantization, which it's happening very miniaturizing the model size, but it's not really solving the problem of how, because in the end of the day, 7Ps, 3Ps will be beaten by others of 30, 30B, or 70P. That's, makes the discussion very difficult. So how do I quantize, make sure that I prune the target? So your quantize to reduce the size, prune is to ensure that the data quality is not lost, and you're still having that model that is actually generalized without hallucinating, does not have the bias and not being distributed. The third and the most important thing, actually probably the most important thing that was for us in Europe, no one was solving, is the JBI. So he said, listen, today, I think someone was showing me yesterday, one of my unschooler friend in India, and was saying that Google just got, this is just when I was flying down here,
So they've fined a couple $1 billion because now they're going after Gemini because it's playing also on the Europeans' public data. So there's going to be a lot of fine slapping going on. OpenAI is still after, the big daddy Microsoft's protection for a while. But at the end of the day, if the $10 billion fine comes, you're in trouble. So what we started doing is we started collecting data that was, licensed, that we could show with our data ingestion, data train regime that, it's, based on these Apache license or whatever, we actually are examining the data which we could use based on the licensing scheme. So we are giving it away for free, but, we also made sure that it was givable away for free. And then the other question obviously is that when you're looking at applications, right, so you have math applications and various other technical applications which people are building. So for example, coding, etc. So there as well, we are looking at actually the specific aspects around it, and how to fine tune the auto the generation, auto creation, and also so simplifying it, because it's not really, ChatGPT is not really solely default. I spent a lot of time trying to solve them. I like to write papers for over the years, and then I'm saying, I don't know probably to do latex. So I say, I just don't have it, I don't have time to do this. It takes me a lot of time to do this. So even if we have a mini project, I shouldn't be talking about it, but I'm sure my team will give me. We call it Axiom, and that'll be released in all the models in the next couple of months. But an Axiom is actually a sort of not just a code and a printer, but it's going to be a code sort of tutor in which you are literally it's giving you not just, it's a bit rotating out. It's not just spitting tokens actually, and tokenizing to AI tokens, not the token that's because, so that those are the tokens, it's just like sequence lengths, pushing them out. So that's, to me, is more important. So if you go out and build something, let's say you raise 100 million, and you have all the support from your VCs. If you end up just building something that looks like Lava or OpenAI, you have so many blocks in helping, because are you going to tell VCs, okay, get this into the market of 20%? Because we know we're definitely going to skip people it, backside. And the VC says, well, get us something. Why don't I just withdraw the check and not do anything? No, So the thing is, it's good to know what the others already have ran into the troubles, but it's better to actually do the things you should be doing. That's more important than, in my opinion, by the way, my whole opinion, to say, let's grab another few billion and let's go look in pattern zone. It was Falcon, I think, also tried to review what not just a UAE language model. But I'm sure, they're not able to use CEO or whatever jurisdiction. But if they do ever want to sell it to you, it's like, so the sophistication of the single AI, become an AI long AI packs to Europe. And Europe is a very wealthy sort of area, and the salt use hasn't. So it's better to actually build products that we say, okay, there's an economy model, there's an open source model, there's a Redis model in which we know that we do the void and all the, you have, VIP and executive lounge and basically your customers with lacks. But so to me, I think that is the most important thing. And I think people should have built miniaturized models and simplify them by just baking them for apps, whether it's crane gaps, whether it's in software, software tutor, the software engineer apps that's going to be very popular, like Devin. I think you guys always sit with an outflow to say, the system is a hack, in our opinion. But I think you can build federalize. That's what we got back to run things style. Companies that in close platforms. Like I imagine that the future here, you're gonna have all of those companies releasing their own SDK, so it's their power, more companies to build the stuff of that. Where in the end, the data feedback relay, it's gonna be feeding back the virtual model while making it more robust and making it more robust in the future. But in essence, the actual company at a layer one is the one that's being goal. Is that true? I think it's a fair point. I was trying to have, but I think it's a very fair point. Today, they're actually still in the sort of the gold rush, there was Silicon Valley intentions in San Francisco. So we have, NVIDIA's providing the space. So everyone is doing OpenAI. They're all using the same Azure, under Blackwell, all that stuff. But you're right, actually. The layer two is, sophistication will come into your application. So if you start open solving a lot up to layer one, which is what I spoke about, these are those three major problems, you're actually providing something about the product to market with this like the apps and layer. So I think it's a great suggestion. I think maybe I should reconsider how. So we do. We're just saying, okay, how do we build LLM ecosystem instead of saying how do we build an LLM so everybody's doing. So LLM ecosystem means I guess to apps that works that actually make a lot of sense. And so just telling people go build an app. So maybe someone goes and builds an app called Devin, raises 50 million because some VC has nothing to do, and then it's like okay, fine. And while I do, on college, on optimistic side, I think that some great things will come out of those ventures. But I think that you can only use your understanding and say, if I want to sell this tutor app, let's say to a company that even doesn't have software engineers, and how much of that problem can it solve? So it does not go and start selling titles up. Start spending money on consulting companies like more offensive to anyone works for a consulting company. And so you can say, okay, in 60% of the job you will have to hire a cut money in consultants, and only 40% is still like you leave people to Q&A. So I think that's where money is to be made, because at the end of the day, if you want to economize any solution, you need to make sure that you're building it up for it to be sold first. So we have sold the idea of AI in Zoom, and I hope for our blockchain community that they will also succeed in selling the idea of how AI's brain, the blockchain of the like AI's brain. And the next step is to actually really build labs. Right, so stop it. And I think with it, that like you're out with the zero, that it could just very interesting about that security. What the happens of like sharing AI, we put a cigar that just look to my night a very good paper in the audience, because you guys are well established and then they have a huge experience and you have proved you said in your careers and your products and actually how they get it. But there's this guy I just got to know 2 days ago in the audience here. He's 24 years old, and I'm very impressed by that guy, the 3D. So 24 years old, CTO and co-founder was started by base net profit 1.2 million euros. So this is the guy I'm pointing out to that guy. But if you'd like to say anything, because I don't think it's a normal thing for me to see a 1.2 million euros CTO and co-founder for a startup per year. Now, alright, then so I go.
Thank you, Yusuf. I don't know really what to say.
Give us study bro.
It's very good to be here. I'm so happy that new kid AI is starting in Egypt. I was part of a community back in France when I did my bachelor and my master's there. But I'm really happy. As I was speaking to Yusuf before, we will try to do my best to contribute to start doing workshops speaking for the people in order to improve and help everyone to get better in AI. And thank you. Okay, that's an official announcement that we join in the community and they'll give us free sessions. And they need more money.
Say that in detail.
Sorry?
Name.
His name? Azadi. Oh, I can't think of the same something. Thank you so much for this, and ending the day we have very good pizza outside. So I make the pizza. So I had that out. I think.